Hello! Welcome to Unreal Lake. It's me, Raven. Hi, guys. Hi. We are late today, and by that I mean I am late today because I had my computer being upset, and instead, of putting up with nonsense, I just restarted it, and now it's a good deal happier, so hopefully it goes smooth. I don't have a great reading voice today. My throat's a little dry. It's just not been very nice lately. So forgive me if I have a bunch of frogs in my throat. Lots of cough and breaks, 'cause I likely need it. But yeah. And we are doing SCP reading today. If I have misremembered what my own calendar was, then oops, but I'm pretty sure that's what I promised. And, yeah. I have a couple of recommendations from Nuriakea, our usual big, long SCP article suggestions. Always come from Nuriakea or do usually. And, yeah. Nuriakea has a bunch more in the list. So we're gonna get started on some more long SCP reads. They're not as long as some of the other ones have been. Oh my gosh! Look, I said Doo's name, and here we are. Hi! Morning. Hammy? Are we ready for Hammy? Who's Hammy? For Hammy? Are you eating ham? Is that what Hammy is? Oh, no. We are, in fact, going to start with 8109 and 8209, and then see how far we get, but I think after those two, the next one in the list, which is a very technical and very important order, I guess. No, it's really not that important. Is 8056. I think, Doo, you're likely to get Hammy tomorrow. I think I can promise Hammy tomorrow. Either way, I'll make sure Hammy's on the forefront of tomorrow. Okay? I'm gonna highlight him in the little chart. Bam. Woo! Yeah, so we're gonna read these guys first, and then see where we get. But probably we're not gonna be able to read through enough stories to get to Hammy tonight. We'll do Hammy tomorrow. And we'll get all spooky, so I hope you guys get cozy and all snuggled in. What was I gonna say? Oh, thank you everybody who joined us for the script read with Vi. We had a great little stream anniversary for me. It was a good time. We read a script I transcribed. It was a very good time. A few of the clips are going to be slowly coming out because I put them on a schedule, because look at me learning tech. But I will not be uploading that VOD. It was too inundated with copyright. So it's not happening. You're gonna have to just enjoy the clips. Or if you want to do more silly things like that, you're like, I missed it, or that was great, I want to be able to rewatch it. Well, you're just gonna have to have requests for more of me and Vi, or me and somebody else to collab reading scripts. And speaking of, I need to get my very isolated little ass talking to people in the VTube areas. I'm not very good about making VTube friends because I don't usually hang out in other people's streams. I fail. So I'm especially gonna yell at my mods a little bit very gently. Hey, tell me where to go and hang out to try and make friends. Because I think that would be good, but at the same time, oh my gosh, everything is so overwhelming and there's so many things to do without having to add that. But basically, if you guys want me to do more collab or try and make friends, yeah. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Yeah, exactly. And I don't go looking very much. So we should, yeah. I should work on that. I have you guys. That's it. So if you want to, that's a different one. Take it from there. Trying to force can feel weird and dis. Well, yeah, of course. But I like. I don't know where to even begin. Basically it. And so I need to do that. And I may need you guys to kick my butt to remind me if you want me to do more collabs, be silly with other people. If you don't care about that, if you're good with Raven only pretty much talking to mods and vibe, then we're good. We're set. No worries. But yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll have to go find out who this sage is then. Maybe. They could be cool, I guess. Alright. With that, we're gonna jump into our SCP. Oh my goodness, what did I do? Okay. I try to read someone playing the same game as me. Yeah. I'd like to. And then I always have to raid and run. So it's not very good. Thanks to people. Yeah. He tends to read people's same game. Yeah. That's pretty classic. I will have to do more efforts to try and make friend. What the heck? I found silliness. Okay, too distractible. I have the SCP number up. So here we go with this. Yeah, exactly. I need to try. Okay, so this is an automated message from the Foundation Record Keeping and Information Security Administration. It says at the very top in a little yellow sticky note looking-ish thing. It's like, hey, wait a minute before you start in on this nonsense. So this is gonna be a funky formatted one. They're always fun to see and like interpret another layer of the story through the way it's formatted. It's always fun like that. Okay, so the rest of the little note says, the following special containment procedures file is currently undergoing active editing. Ooh, okay, so we're gonna see how people are fighting about it. Is that how this is gonna be? Information contained within may be incomplete or erroneous. This message will be automatically removed once the editing process is completed. For further information, contact Maria Jones, and then in brackets, Maria Jones at site7.sipnet. Well, okay. We're gonna move that. We're just gonna make adjustments to the little layout on the frickin' desk. 'Cause I'm hitting my keyboard too much. Okay, so then it says edit this page. Oh wait, no, I know I hit a button on one of these. It wasn't this one, was it? I always like to check how long something is and click clickable buttons quick. See how long they are. Not paying attention to what they say, but just like, how long is this? Yeah, this is not that one. Okay. It says edit this page at the top, and then we jump into these different gray blocks that I think are each of the different sections to the usual like files. So the different headline part and classification and all the stuff like that. And because we have a changing thing and we're supposed to contact Maria, I'm gonna guess we're gonna deal with some things that are very incorrect, and it says later on in the article, like, don't trust this thing, that's not accurate. This is how it is, kind of a thing. And kind of fighting back and forth in the way that at the end. But we're gonna see. The first block, first gray section, Special Containment Procedures Identification Number 8019. And then there's a little, I guess, spot for where you where you can put in text. I hit a button, I'll explain. And the text inside the little lighter gray chunk says anomalous weapon, anti-entropic, spontaneous human freezing. So I guess these are the tags associated with 8109? I don't know. Okay. But then underneath it says a little, edit button. When you hover, it looks like you can click it, so I click it, and then there's a little thing that pops up that says an embedded page at SCP Wiki says, warning, you do not have permission to alter the special containment procedures identification for this entry, and you have to hit OK and go back. So they managed to kind of merge the way it's written to the way your browser actually interacts with you clicking the button. It's cute that way. They did some fun stuff. Okay, next block, it says object classification. There's a little drop down menu that I can read what they all are, but I can't click a different one. The formatting, they did so good on this. It's so cool. We have it says the little drop down bar thing, it says esoteric, but when you click it, you can see that from the top of the list to the bottom, and all the different things, and there's different ones that are light gray instead of the black. That's an option to click. And so, unclickable, neutralized, then explained, then decommissioned, pending, safe, Euclid, Thaumiel, Archon, Ticonderoga, uncontained, and then finally esoteric at the end, and there's like a little check that says, yes, that's the one we have already clicked, and when I hover it turns blue. They did the formatting so that this is really how the browser even interacts with it. It's very, oh, I love it. Okay. They got the details. I like it when they get the details. Okay. Underneath that little drop down, it says, warning, all caps. Esoteric object classifications are intended only for cases where no other object classifications apply. Before assigning an esoteric classification to an object, please contact RACE's Esoteric Classifications Department, and then in brackets, the email esoclassdept@site7.cypnet for approval. If you have already received approval, please enter the specific esoteric object classification in the text field below. And there's a little text field, a little white space to put in text, and it says, for the love of God, read Addendum 3. And then there's a bunch of little buttons, and it says cancel edits, history, preview, save draft, save edits. And I don't know which one to start with. I don't want to mess anything up. I doubt it'll let me do anything to it. I'm gonna guess that it'll say the same thing as the little edit button, but with how much the details they get, who knows? Okay, I'm gonna hit save edits. Okay, it just says database error. Okay, understood. Save draft. Same little error, different error codes each time, but it's a you can't access the edit history. Get out of here. And then database error. So all the buttons, they all do the same, like, hey, no. But they are clickable, so it is looking like it's supposed to be. Oh. Hi, DJ. Oh, give me a second. I'm gonna cough. Okay. Hi, DJ. Okay. So then the next block, the gray section, is the special containment procedures. And of course, this is often very long. Oh, no, wait. It's the first section. Or is it the description? Yes. No? Yes. Okay, this is usually the next bit. It's been a minute, okay? And there's, underneath the little title, there's a bunch of little squares that look like different options to click for different formatting maybe, but I can't click none of them. Basically bold, italic, underline, straight through. I don't know what that double T or the Q in a box. There's the sub and superscript, the text that goes up above, the text goes down below. Like when something is squared or H2O, those are the two different where the twos go. I don't know what the R is for. There's a weird line, div. Two squares over a line that look like a derpy face. That's something that looks like making a table or borders. Lots of different little buttons for formatting stuff. And yeah, so I'm guessing this is all for how you want to organize this section, but I don't have it. Oh, DJ, don't worry. You don't need to. You're not late. I don't keep attendance. You're fine. We barely got into this anyway. So yeah, they've got all the different options. You can even add pictures. I think a couple buttons have. For the containment procedure spot, and then we have the text here. This text block, it says, as of 07/22/2024, so July 22nd, 2024, 10 vials of SCP-8109, and then in brackets, each containing 10 milliliters of the active agent in a saline suspension, okay, are known to exist. One of these vials, and then in brackets, SCP-8109-1, was confirmed destroyed during experimental testing. Another vial, in brackets, is SCP-8109-2, was utilized by unknown hostiles during a raid on Site-76 on 08/29/2016. August 29, 2016. The 8 remaining vials are under secure storage at Site-76. And then it says footnote 1. And then there's footnote beneath that I'll skip ahead to. It's got its own little text block. I'm guessing one of those little spots, one of those buttons had a footnote button. I don't know. Footnote 1 says Site-76 is a major containment site located in the United States of America, housing a large number of anomalous objects presumed to be man-made. The site is one of the oldest American facilities still in operation, located within former U.S. government buildings. Multiple government buildings? My goodness, okay. The rest of that text block, though, then says, as victims of SCP-8109 exhibit anti-entropic properties, rapidly absorbing heat from the surrounding area, proper storage of cadavers is a priority. What? Oh, you mean like the victims' cadavers start to get really hot? That's weird. So instead of going cold when you're dead, they get hotter and hotter? That's uncomfy. Alright. Considering they absorb heat from surrounding air, proper storage of cadavers is a priority. Site-76's deep chill storage facility will suffice for this purpose. Should an SCP-8109 victim be encountered in the wild... For a second I was like, does that mean they're alive? I thought we had just established that they were dead. No. Okay. Mobile Task Force Kappa 5, and then in brackets their nickname is Vonnegut's Nightmare, will be dispatched to sequester and secure the cadaver. So they are dead. But it's just that if you find them and they're not already in the cold space, this team will come and fix that. And then we have a weird little bit of text. I guess this is one of those things where it was edited, as we have been warned, that this whole article, this whole SCP file is going to be in editing process, and so here's some evidence of it being changed on them. The text here says no further containment procedures are required, but then it's scratched through, and there's a footnote 2 here that says, see addendum number 3. at the bottom of this it says warning, unsaved edits present. And now I wonder if when I hit the buttons it'll mess with it. I'm gonna hit all the buttons. We have save edits, save draft, preview, history, and cancel edits. Same database error for the save edits, save draft, preview, history, and yeah, cancel edits. So I can't do nothing, but I'm still gonna click every time, dang it. Okay. Now the next section. Oh no, Toast, I'm sorry your internet is being not nice. I know that feeling. Take care, bye-bye, eat well. The next section, yes. So the next is object description, and it starts off with a photo here. This is a bit of an odd photo. It looks like what we have here is an x-ray of a human skeleton. Yeah, although there's a couple weird pieces that look like maybe there's extra teeth. I don't know. Okay, it's a skeleton, and something's going on with it. Like honestly, it reminds me of frost growing on something, like ice growing, and it's covering up most of the head. You can see the like face-ish area, but you can't really see the rest of the skull very well. No worries, DJ. I mean, maybe that's why it hurts, but oh my gosh. Bye. Oh, are you leaving? 'Cause it's too confusing. I'm sorry. Take care. Eat well. Yeah, it looks like a bunch of frost is growing on it, but it kind of looks also, it's in a very specific, it's kind of like there's a bunch of fraying stuff out of one central shape that's a bunch of lines stacked up that looks like a, I think hexagon, but the way that it's kind of funky shaped, it could be slightly different numbers of sides on it. I think at its root, this little bit of frost is a very intense hexagon growing out of the skull part of this photo. So it's just, it looks like an x-ray that's covered with frost, kind of. But if hexagon or geometric shapes come up later, that could be relevant. Underneath it says file image scp8109.png, and then it says enter alt text description below. And this says X-ray image of a 9-year-old male victim of SCP-8109. Oh, too young. No, bad. Note the crystallization of the brain matter. The ice spikes caused by rapidly freezing spinal fluid and the damage to the cranium. Okay, so the ice really is what happened. If this is literally what happened, then I imagine the real life photo as opposed to the x-ray image is like just a giant block of ice has taken over a kid's head. And there were some spikes coming out the front and the back of the head, but not the top for whatever reason. And it extends even down the back of his neck a bit. Nuts. There's an upload new image button, and it is illegal, but I still click it. And then we have the big chunk of text underneath the description. It says SCP-8109 is an anti-entropic catalyst. In the presence of a saline liquid, SCP-8109 will undergo a rapid anti-entropic endothermic reaction resulting in a sudden temperature drop to near absolute zero, which in brackets it says approximately negative 200 degrees Celsius. So yeah, they just immediately lose all heat, all energy, just nearly to the point, absolute zero is the point where all your particles, everything in you stops moving. Because if there's any heat, anything, there's some movement. It's not a bunch, but it's some movement. If it's absolutely none, that's absolutely zero. Absolute zero. And it's nearly that cold. That's holy shit. Initial concerns regarding a possible self-sustaining chain reaction, in brackets, case Fimbulwinter, in brackets, in all caps, whatever the heck that is, were disproved by laboratory testing. 1 millimeter of SCP-8109 is sufficient to freeze between 10 and 20 liters of seawater when activated, but that same freezing process will encapsulate the catalyst within a shell of saltwater ice, isolating it from the surrounding environment and rendering it safe for transport. Okay, so they must have... Fimbulwinter must have been dropping it into the seawater that they used to test, which proved to them that it wouldn't overtake all the salt water if it got into an ocean. It would just take up however much it could manage for its quantity, I guess is what they're trying to say. And it is safe to transport from there. Despite the obvious dangers, SCP-8109 is simple to contain in its current state. All existing samples have been microencapsulated in an... my brain. Artemisite. And that says footnote 1. Nanolattice suspended within a solution of distilled water. Okay, so being in the distilled water, it's all stuck. Experimentation on human subjects has shown that the encapsulated SCP-8109 lingers in the body upon consumption, passing through the blood-brain barrier and taking up residence within the corpus callosum. Test subjects have reported feelings of deep chill, the desire to consume heated beverage up to and including scalding hot temperatures, and a markedly reduced core body temperature, but are otherwise unharmed until SCP-8109 is activated. What exactly is activation? But okay, so that means that it doesn't hurt and kill you until something else happens, but you are still going to be extra cold, and it's finding its way to your brain. It's going to get settled in to hurt you real bad. But then we've got more text that's scratched out, and this time it says, the nature of the, oh my gosh, with this scratch, anti-entropic catalyst is unknown, and the manufacturing process has been lost. Okay. As of the current date, there is no further means of manufacturing SCP-8109. Well, that's good, right? We don't want this. This has been very bad. This is a bad idea. I mean, no. But then it says another footnote. So, okay, I'm going to go back up to the footnote 1, which was after the way they were microencapsulated in an artemisite nanolattice suspended with... So footnote says a thaumaturgically active alloy utilized by type blue mages. That's the artemisite. Okay. Artemisite is unusual in that exposure to thaumic energy within a certain aspect range, ruby, double flat, tight, in brackets, will cause it to rapidly dissolve into its component metals. As this form of thaumic energy does not exist in nature and can only be generated by deliberate thaumic working, artemisite is often used in thaumatological trigger mechanisms to ensure against accidental activation. Okay, so they're like, use this magic thing so that there's no accidentally creating a chemical reaction to something that's gonna fuck stuff up. Very good move, very good move. Wouldn't want this to accidentally activate. And then footnote 2 very similar to our previous footnote 2 on something. It says, please, in all caps, see addendum number 3. Something about addendum number 3 is very important. I hope we get to it soon. It says warning, unsaved edits at the bottom. It has the same buttons. I must click all buttons. I must check that they are all error coded. Okay, good. Next up, it's the next block. It says addendum 1, history of development. It's got all the text buttons at the top as the last two have. And then, hold on one sec as I cough. Okay. We begin with the history of the development. SCP-8109 is an eigenweapon created by Thoth Industries. Footnote 1. I'll scroll down. I'll go to it right now. Thoth Industries was a paraweapons development and manufacturing firm founded in 1950. The corporation's anomalous assets were acquired and secured by the Foundation following the dissolution of the Bowe Commission, or Bowie, B-O-W-E. Okay, so it was created by those guys at the behest of the Bowe Commission as part of Project Olympus. Footnote 2, scroll back down. The Bowe Commission's Parasoldier project enacted in cooperation with the Foundation. Project Olympus was shuttered following the death of General Ulysses Bowe at the hands of... And then there's a little brackety thing. I think this means it's linking to this SCP. Because it says little arrow bracket, SiteNet, SCP 076, arrow bracket. And the previous little arrow brackets around footnote would be little links. So I'm guessing that that's a link to that, like we've seen before. Hey, thank you for the follow. Rick Sedger, you want some dances? We gotta do our dances. Happy frog. There we go. Well, it says frog happy, but so welcome in again. Right. So they shuttered Project Olympus after the death of that general, which came at the hands of SCP-076 during a containment breach at Site 17. Okay, sounds like a lot of story. But this was created by them as part of that project in 1991. Originally developed as an improved refrigerant for military equipment following the Montreal Protocol's ban on chlorofluorocarbons, that's the CFCs that people banned when the ozone layer was getting bad. So guys, okay, this was an improved refrigerant when they banned that stuff that was often in the refrigerators. Was enacted in 1989. SCP-8109's unusual anti-entropic properties prompted further research into development as an area denial weapon. Footnote 3 says just Project Belphegor. Creepy. Okay. Due to the anti-entropic catalyst only activating in the presence of saline water and its tendency to form a self-sealing ice water shell, this usage case proved less than optimal. Which is to say that it would only go big frozen if you had saline water, salt water, and it added the little ice water shell. So when they used it, or when they were trying to use it for this stuff, That meant that, oh, there's a bunch of ice on the outside and we have to break through the ice to get to the stuff. That's no fun. And we have to douse whatever we are trying to refrigerate in salt water, so that's not great either. I don't know. Sorry. Then yeah, that is less than optimal, which also I guess I missed it, but this reminded me that that's the catalyst. That's what makes the 8109 activate once it's gotten into somebody's brain, I guess. So when does the salt water get into their brain, if not always? Question marks? But okay. Or maybe it's when salt water reaches the outside of it? I don't know. Okay. So yeah, that wasn't exactly what they were after. Research then focused on possible use as a delayed action assassination / population reduction weapon. Population reduction? Murder. By encapsulating the anti-entropic catalyst in an artemisite nanolattice, the catalyst could be introduced into an enemy's water or food supply, spreading throughout the population and being taken up into the subject's body, where it would linger until exposed to the activating thaumic energy. Oh, so it would automatically get them, but because they're wrapped in thaumic stuff, then they have to wait for the spell, whatever magic stuff, to also. Because I was like, yeah, there's always salt and water in a people. What do you mean it didn't activate? Okay, now I see. Because the magic part. Oh, too many activation buttons. Okay. This would allow for the slow spreading of the weapon throughout an enemy populace, followed by a sudden activation, resulting in the rapid termination of multiple enemies at once. Yay! This is awful. Initial tests indicated that the SCP-8109 eigenweapon, Project Belphegor, could be an effective assassination weapon, but was hampered by its openly anomalous effects, which would have made its deployment incompatible with the Veil Protocol. So, ooh, fun murder weapon, but then people know about spooky stuff, so I guess illegal. Darn. Research into controlled dosage delivery mechanisms continued until the shuttering of Project Olympus following the Foundation's falling out with the Bow Commission in the winter of 2002. Due to disagreement regarding the disposal of Thoth Industries' assets, Foundation personnel secured the Thoth Industries facilities by force, removing as many anomalous assets as possible and placing them into containment. In the case of SCP-8109, attempts to secure records of the manufacturing process for SCP-8109 were stymied by the leader of MTF Omega-7's Team Santiago. Footnote 5. We're going to scroll down. Wait, did I miss a footnote 4? Where was footnote 4? I don't think they put it in. Oops. Well, there's a footnote 4 that says Mobile Task Force Omega-7, Pandora's Box, was a special mobile task force formed under the auspices, I think I mispronounced that, but anyway, of the Bow Commission, intended to test the usage of anomalous weaponry in the defense of the United States. Team Able was intended to test the usage of SciPnet SCP-076 link in combat, while Team Iris was intended to support SCP-105 link in infiltration and espionage operations. Team Santiago was formed as a test unit for non-humanoid anomalous weaponry, including the anti-entropic catalyst now designated as SCP-8109. Okay, so there is, under the Pandora's Box, Team Able, Team Iris, and Team Santiago. And we were talking about Team Santiago. So they should have put footnote 4 and then footnote 5 here, because they say Team Santiago, footnote 5. Commander Hector Santiago, USN, retired. Commander Santiago was the only Omega-7 team leader not originally employed by the Foundation, but was seconded to the Foundation by recommendation of Bow Commission. Interesting. Okay. They were stymied when the leader of the team, Santiago, who activated the self-destruct procedure for Thoth Industries' main data hub, following which he personally executed the head researcher for Project Belphegor. Yeah, okay, so the fact that he wasn't originally a Foundation employee becomes relevant there. Wow, okay, and then they have footnote 6. After the murder of head of Project Belphegor, Dr. Vincent Chin, formerly of Thoth Industries, Dr. Chin, or Director Chin, I don't know, was responsible for the development of the SCP-8109 anti-entropic catalyst and was a key figure in Project Belphegor's development. Okay, so non-Foundation dude Santiago activated self-destruct procedure for the Thoth Industries main data hub, his original employers, and then personally executed researcher Dr. Chin. Yes, that was his name. Yes, Dr. Chin. And then, before Foundation operatives could secure him for all that, before they could secure him for transport. Footnote 7. Commander Santiago was terminated by Foundation personnel following his violent attack upon Dr. Chin. All members of Commander Santiago's family were informed that he had perished in a helicopter accident overseas. You know, like the liars they are. Okay, the last little bit of the amendment, though, says the 10 extant vials were secured at Site 76 in secure containment. All further attempts to recreate the anti-entropic catalyst used in SCP-8109 have proven unsuccessful. Why are you trying to recreate it? What are you doing? Stop. And the buttons again. Save edits. Error. Save draft. Error. Preview. Error. History. Error. Cancel edits. Error. Alright. Addendum 2. Raid by Chaos Insurgency Forces. And all the funky formatting buttons. And then, in the summer of 2016, Foundation Site 76 was compromised by an unknown party. Breaching the hidden entrance to Site 76 at Maher Air Force Base, a 4-man infiltration team proceeded into the lower levels of Foundation Site 76, causing multiple containment breaches in the process. One of the breaches was of SCP-8109's storage facility, during which one of the reinforced pods containing a vial of SCP-8109 was compromised. The vial was then used to cover the attacker's escape, freezing a large portion of the Site-76 wastewater system while the attackers escaped through the drainage channels. How did they know that would do that? How did they know? And then we've got a very spooky little subnote. It says, following the raid, all assets were inventory, and all 8 remaining vials of SCP-8109 were confirmed to be safely within their containment pods. Footnote 1. But all of that is scratched out. What do you mean 8? There was 10 in the last, and then this one lost 1 vial? Where's the other vial? We already referenced it at the very start, but we'll find out. And of course the footnote 1 says, as we might expect with the scratched out text, all caps, Addendum 3, period. Addendum 3. Warning, unsaved edits present, save edits, error code, save draft, error code, preview, error code, History, error code. Cancel edits, error code. You can't stop me from checking all the buttons, god damn it. You can't stop me. Okay. And now, what might be the last one? Oh no, not the last one. This block says create new addendum, and then in brackets, this will be addendum number 3. Da, 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 da. Oh, big yawns. A bit eepy. My sore throat. I hydrate. Okay. Description of addendum. Multiple simultaneous attacks upon Foundation sites. Ooh, so I guess we had the one from the Chaos Insurgency. Maybe this describes the other attack, maybe? Anyway, then it says enter addendum text. It has all the funky format buttons and the text block. It's a big, big text block. This is Junior Archivist Henry Leonard. I am writing this from the SiteNet terminal on Platform 7 of Protected Site 7. The doorway to this chamber is currently frozen shut, and all 7 platforms have been entombed in ice created by SCP-8109, meaning I am unable to access any other terminals on the site. Oh! Okay, here I was thinking that there was something spooky about this particular use, and I mean maybe, but it's reading a little bit more like something else is happening, and it just so happens that because of where we're at, this is the only SCP file that I can write what's happening into, so please look over here, something's happening, help me. I'm so sorry, Henry, and whoever else you might be with, but, oof, okay. So what's Henry's story? Here we go. Hostile forces have taken over the facility. All race assets, including the Panopticon global surveillance system, the IAD main cluster, and all SiteNet terminals are to be considered compromised. At 0600 hours this morning, all contact was lost with Site 35. Hold on 1 second, I'm sorry. Okay. Whoa, what the heck? Felt like all the water moved in the back of my throat again. That was weird. Okay, Raven making weird noises without intending to, and it's a little bit gross, yay. Okay, the racist staff after a repeated attempt to re-establish contact, racist staff tapped into the remote security footage from the Site 35 camera network. Downloaded footage showed multiple staff members with ice crystals jutting from their skin and body, apparently killed by flash freezing. At 16:15 hours, am I supposed to say 615 hours? Very clearly, I don't verbally read military time too often. Site 39 also dropped off the network. Tapped footage from security cameras showed similar deaths of staff within that site. At 06:33, a building in Lansing, Michigan erupted into a shower of snow made of frozen human blood. Oh my god. Why is it all blood? I don't like that. The epicenter of this attack coincided with the location of Site 11. Ooh. SCP-8109 was identified as the most probable cause of these incidents. Mobile Task Force Kappa 5 was immediately activated, while personnel at Site 76 opened SCP-8109's containment chamber and opened one of the remaining vials of SCP-8109. The vial was found to contain a non-anomalous saline solution of water and potassium chloride. Oh, what the shit? What? This must be the Chaos Insurgency set this up. They only made you think that they took one. Further investigation confirmed that all 8 vials of SCP-8109 were compromised in this fashion. Okay, so where did we lose one? Where did I mix up math? But anyway, okay. By this time, Mobile Task Force Kappa 5 had arrived at Site 35 and 39 and begun their investigation. Records showed that the water filtration system at the affected sites had been serviced within the past year. A device consisting of a small plastic pouch with a time release valve was discovered in the site's primary water intake. A Foundation-wide alert went out, and similar devices were found at multiple other sites. They dosed staff with their own thing. Personnel at the affected sites were questioned. Many reported feeling an unusual chill over the past few months. No! Hi, Scooby. Hello. Oh, don't cry. Hi. You're here. You don't have to cry no more. Okay. Where was I? Personnel at the affected sites were questioned. Many of them reported feeling an unusual chill over the past few months, and several reported having increased their consumption of hot drinks as a result. So they should have known that's symptom 1 and 2. I got dosed with the super scary ice in your brain thing. But I guess people don't read their stuffs. Of note, the total amount of liquid within these devices far exceeded the 80 milliliters believed to have existed in Foundation containment. They got in touch with the original people. LeChonk is watching Meaty Man wrestling right now. So we'll be here soon again. But had to go. Cannot keep the goose from the Meaty Men wrestling. Okay. So they must have got the other people, or they reverse engineered it. Maybe? Oh, I don't know. Okay. There is only one conclusion we can reach. The attack on Site 76, detailed in Addendum 2, was carried out for the express purpose of capturing the remaining samples to facilitate reverse engineering. Yeah, no, I called one of them the process of manufacturing SCP-8109. There you go. Okay, and then Henry keeps saying, I don't have much time. A few minutes ago, Site 7's outer security perimeter reported a small airborne object approaching the facility at speed. Visual observation confirmed that the device was a quadcopter-style drone with an unidentified device strapped underneath, later determined to be an improvised aerosol dispersion system. Despite the best efforts of Site security personnel, the device succeeded in deploying its cargo over Platform 3. Upon being exposed to the aerosolized payload, oh no, Foundation security personnel experienced spontaneous anti-entropic reactions. Subsequent drone attacks with similar payloads have resulted in the deaths of 75% of RISA personnel at Site 7. This is a coordinated attack. Whoever did this has been setting this up for months, maybe years. First, a bunch of scattered attacks as a shaping operation to create fear and chaos. Then a directed strike at the communications hub, us. The next attack will be on Leadership Blue Bar. Hello, Tsukiyomi. I don't take attendance, but I am glad you're here now. You don't have to say I haven't been here a while. It's very sweet of you guys to be like, hi, well, I missed you. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to. I'm just happy to see you whenever. Mostly because I kind of forget. My brain's not that great. But as I was reading, so I'm assuming that the end of that sentence is leadership. And yeah, but that's where it ended. That's the end of Henry's document. So maybe something happened to Henry. Maybe it's the very, very beginning. No, it will not. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. We don't do cannibalism in here. We don't do cannibalism in here. Illegal. Okay. But that's all that Henry wrote so far. At the bottom it says in blue text, like the little blue bar that I guess shows the cursor, it says, you are currently editing this portion of the document. And then it has the usual warning, unsaved edits present. I clicky the buttons, and they are so far all error codes. Yeah, or more, yeah. And then, can you believe it? There's another addendum. There's someone beyond Henry that wrote stuff down. Maybe Henry said, oh, that's enough of this, I'm going to write something else. But I think, I'm going to guess it's somebody else. Okay. Create new addendum. This will be addendum 4. Description of addendum, all caps. Should intermittent vengeance arm again his red right hand to plague us. The fuck? With a question mark on that. And then it says enter addendum text, and it has all the text format buttons, and then the big text says, it begins with a tickle, a slight lingering feeling of coolness where it should not belong. It continues with a chill under your skin, a warm summer breeze across bare skin that pierces like an ice pick through your flesh, a glass of ice water that seems to catch in the back of your throat, a shard of ice from a spoonful of sorbet that you feel slide down your gullet and into your stomach where it seems to settle like a feeling of dread just under your heart. It's a hot summer day and still you find yourself layered up in down and wool. The noonday sun feels like an arctic breeze. You shiver in the bath even as the water you soak in scalds your skin, turning it red and bubbling. You'll turn a hairdryer to full speed, breathe in air that scorches your lungs, and even as you cough up the burning remnants of your alveoli? I don't know, probably something in your lungs. Anyway, one thought will linger in your brain in letters of steel and frost, all caps. I am so cold. When water freezes, it does not do so all at once. It needs a seed, an imperfection for the crystals to form around. Some fleck of dust or mineral fragment that causes the molecules to line up to form up in 30-degree angles and hexagonal spikes. I know hexagon. Trapping the imperfections within them as they spread across the surface of the water like flashing flames. This is the fate that awaits you, the final flash freezing of your existence as your super-chilled soul ripples and cracks. Feel the shards crackle through your flesh, your skin splitting wide as the chill of night rips itself outwards from your veins and I was about to say caterpillars. It's not caterpillars. What an interruption in our spooky paragraph. We're going to go back. Feel the shards crackle through your flesh, your skin splitting wide as the chill of night rips itself outwards from your veins and capillaries. Your bones crack open under the hammer blow of the freezing marrow. The brick red tissue pushing its way through your freezing meat in long, knife-shaped shards, jutting outwards like the claws of a beast tearing its way from the cocoon of your body. And like a beast it roars as it is born, the shriek of twisting bone and the purr of crackling frozen blood and bile, the howl of air molecules supercooled by your last breath, scattering iron-red snowflakes in a hemoglobin blizzard centered on you. And as your soul freezes and falls into the abyss of entropy, your last thought will be the same as your first, the last flicker of life in your brain before eternity claims you, being those 4 small familiar words. I am so cold. Flee. Seek shelter. Light your fires and seek out the warmth where you will. It will avail you not. All existence began in the cold of the void, and all life ends with the chill of the grave. It was there before the first light shone, and it will remain when the last proton decays, and it is coming for you now. Warning, unsafe edits present. I take it that that's a blurb written by the people that were attacking. With the kind of slight word jumble at the start, that feels very much like one of the people that's making the attack, and then all of that being as poetic as it is, it doesn't feel like one of the researchers. But then it has buttons, and you know I'm gonna click them. Save edits, no. Save draft, no. Preview, no. History, no. Cancel edits, no. And the final gray block is a totally different block. Button says create new addendum. It gives error code, upload supplemental documentation. Error code, upload image or other media. Error code, save changes and continue editing. Error code, and the final one, finalize and upload to SiteNet. Error code. So I love that they have the buttons, and I love that they are protecting their stuff by saying, no, you can't actually do anything with the buttons. But it was so cool to see the format, and the little drop down little thingy where we collect esoteric. That was such a cool. They did very well. They did very well. And that was SCP-8-109. There you go. Oh, sorry. Another cough necessary. So there you go. Now we have our little break. I will do any redeems you guys want, or I can move right on to the next one. Now, because this one technically didn't have the links in it, and I usually include the links, this one's gonna be funny because we do actually have two different SCPs that it references. It's just that their links don't work. It's SCP-076 and SCP-105. So those would be cool. I think I will go look into those later. Okay. Humming. Of course, we can do some humming. Oh, I forgot to hit the button. Oh no, we sure got the button. I have to type. Okay. I was leaning back and I didn't want to have to lean forward, but I did it for you. Okay, let's do humming. Oh, there's LeChonk. That's what Scooby called you, not me, but I did repeat it happily. I was picking a song. Okay. Okay, next one. Why did my brain evacuate? I had picked that song and then it left. What happened? Oh, brain. Okay. Oh. Hey, No. No. None cannibalism. None. Thank you. Ooh, I'm all scrunched up. I'm not getting good breath. Oh, it's fine. Do I need to mute you, evils? You'll probably end up using emotes anyway. But stop! I'll stop humming if you don't stop your little cannibalisms. I will. I'll stop humming. I have one more song that I was gonna do. I'll stop. I'll not hum. Punish. I will. I can. It's my channel, damn it. I know. Scooby, you're mean. You're so mean. I'm glad Tsukiyomi heard my threat. Scooby says, and? Scooby is ruining this for you. Okay, no more songs. No more songs. Hi, Lerp. Hello and welcome, Lerp. Thank you for the dance. See, the honks following the rules. What nonsense is this? We dropped some little dancey emotes whenever we've got a new friend, so there you go. Thank you very much. Hey, why aren't you dropping my little dance? There we go. And the honk. Only if you stop with your frog cannibalism. If you stop eating the peoples that happen to be in frog form right now, then I will sing. Scooby's ruining this. But hey, I'm glad that your frog is laughing. That implies consent, as opposed to the crying ones. Kind of more on board with that. Just a little bit better. Tsukiyomi says, ah! Yes, I make the rules here, not you. I can do what I want. I mean, do you see a pigeon? Go ahead. Still frying him. I'm putting salt on his food. What do you think I'm doing, Raven? That is much better. How could you think of such a thing? I do. Well, maybe the yummers and the try it as a soup have a double serving of daily frog. Got me. Mask, I don't think is pigeon. I don't think he is pigeon. As beautiful and mighty the pigeon is, the rock doves are beautiful. Seriously though, do you not love the iridescence on birds? And pigeons have a lot of iridescence. It's gorgeous. People are so mean. Pigeons are lovely. Scooby, you're not helping yourself. He said penguin was more likely. He said no to duck. Ducks are good. Penguins are good. Wi-Fi, don't you be mean. Oh, I saw my Wi-Fi dip. Don't be mean, Wi-Fi. What the hell are you doing? I've grabbed a pigeon using a stale fry. Why? Why you grab? Were you nice? Don't be mean to animals. Even if you are an animal. Don't be mean. It went cool? Aww. Of course it did. Ads? You're dealing with an ad right now? What the fuck? There ain't no ad running. I didn't run an ad right now. Listen, Twitch, you motherfucker, I'm not doing this. I didn't run an ad. That's illegal. After Vi told me last stream that they don't even properly freaking pay us. Apparently, if you're in the ASMR category, and probably also the writing and reading, it doesn't pay you correct. And it's electric. What? Oh, what? You were so confusing. Okay. Hydrate, thank you. I will hydrate. Thank you very much. Writing and reading is probably fine. Okay. I thought that they were close enough. Pigeons aren't real. Pigeons are... Oh my gosh. They're fully real. Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, at least not for the same reason. Yeah, okay. Like mask. It's not... It's... What? I can't follow what's happening with the goose. I don't know what's going on. I will distract with humming. But I will stop if there is any more cannibalism. But people read sussy stuff. I have read stuff that's kinda, but not really. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon? I have not seen a baby pigeon. No, you're right. But I have seen pigeon eggs. Okay, humming time. Well, that wasn't supposed to go in there. Get out of there. Oh my gosh. I'm not sitting in a very good way to get my breath in, but you cannot make me. Not today. And I think, Scooby, that's somebody that was finally having a minute of having fun with their job. Have you ever punched bread? It can be kind of silly and fun. I don't know. To see the smush and the indent, it can be entertaining. Anyway, okay. I just saw that. No more humming. Illegal, Tsukiyomi. Humming is done. You ruin. If we have none others, we will go to the next SCP. The next one, oh my goodness. The next one is 8209. So very close to the 8109. 8209. Recommended by Nuriakea again. Ooh, it's looking pretty funky junk. It's got a bunch of fun labels. And it does not look like it's formatted differently. It looks like it's pretty well typical, but we'll see in a minute. I'm giving you a moment to tell me that you want other redeems, but I'm about to give up on that. No, you ruined it. You did it. I warned you. I set my boundary and I followed through. But I did really do. Okay, we're gonna go with the next SCP. Hey, thingy. There you go. And it is. No, I don't. There you go. Yeah. There we go. Are you ready? It's longer than the last one. I'll probably break in the middle. At first, it looks extremely short. Like 6 sentences in total. There's a button, I promise. Okay. Item number 8209. Level 1, unrestricted. It's got a little green bar. The containment class is esoteric. The secondary class is Ticonderoga. Disruption class is dark. Risk class is notice. Esoteric and Ticonderoga symbols are very funky. Okay, and then it says special containment procedures. As SCP-8209 solely impacts individuals already behind the veil, no incremental containment procedures are necessary. So it doesn't go after people that don't already know that stuff's out there. Cool. Description. SCP-8209 is an anomalous phenomenon commencing on January 16th, 2021, in which individuals capable of reincarnation uniformly experience a deep sense of bliss upon returning to life. So every time after January 16, 2021, reincarnation folks are like, oh, thank God. But before they weren't? No? Okay. Then we have the button that says additional information is available to individuals with 5/8209 clearance. I guess we have that because I clicked the button and it's here. And now we have a new file. It says item number 8. Oh, it says credentials accepted first, but then it says item number 8209, level 5, top secret, 5 red bars. Containment class neutralized. So something happened and they got rid of that, whatever the frick happened. Oh, I'm sorry, Tsukiyomi. You gotta leave for no more spooky stuff. Very, very fair. I mean, this seems to be about feeling happy when you come back from the dead. That seems kind of like a funky, fun one, but that is my own opinion. Eat well, take care. We hope to see you soon. We're going to be playing a little game tomorrow when we read these, so it might be a bit of a brighter, fun time. Keep your eye out for... Oh, frick, what's that number again? I'll go find it. It's SCP-8005. 8005. That means we're playing a silly little game. But it could still kind of be spooky. I don't know. Ask you do. Anyway, okay. Here we go. For the new file number, or the new file on this number, it says Special Containment Procedures. As of January 16th, 2021, no mechanism remains by which the legal code of Habakkuk 2, North Dakota might be manipulated to produce anomalous results. As such, SCP-8209 is considered neutralized. What the hell does any of this mean? Okay. Archived Special Containment Procedures, active December 2020. This is before the January 2021. Okay. Residents of Habakkuk, North Dakota have been told that, due to a legal technicality stemming from a quirk in the town charter, Habakkuk is technically blocked from obtaining state aid for its school district. Okay. To resolve the issue, they have been told a new town is being established under the same name and legal code and with essentially identical boundaries. Because of the onerous paperwork associated with dissolving a municipality, the former town is to be renamed Habakkuk II, and its limits redefined to solely encompass 100 square yards of brown field in the town's outlying woodlands. Okay. In fact, the above measures are being undertaken to limit SCP-8209's area of effect and permit complete Foundation control over the drafting of municipal laws to which SCP-8209 is subject. What the hell? After a new town charter is obtained for Habakkuk, the former Habakkuk Municipal Code, now retitled the Habakkuk II Municipal Code, is to be rewritten to reduce the number of seats on the Habakkuk II City Council from 12 to 3. To ensure that the Foundation holds voting control over the Habakkuk II City Council, the only 3 individuals permitted to officially reside in Habakkuk II are Doctors Oded Shimoni, Ghulam Hazrat, and Courtney Spangler. Hold on a second. Okay. Snap elections will be held for all city council seats due to the loss of Habakkuk II residency of all prior members of the city council following the change in 2 boundaries. After these snap elections, the roster members of the Habakkuk II city council will consist of Doctors Oded Shimoni, Ghulam Hazrat, and Courtney Spangler, with Oded Shimoni holding the chairmanship. After the Habakkuk II City Council is elected, tests will be held to ensure the continuing efficacy of SCP-8209, identify its limits, and test its practicability for assisting in containment of other anomalies. Do they mean practicality? Anyway, if successful, SCP-8209 may be utilized to help discipline humanoid anomalies. What the hell does that mean? Description. Oh my gosh. The description is SCP-8209 was an anomalous phenomenon that caused any individual who violated a city law of Habakkuk, North Dakota, to instantaneously and subjectively experience the maximal punishment prescribed by the relevant law. Individuals subject to this effect would forget their experience immediately after its completion, though psychological impacts typically remained. So something in that town, if you broke a city law, immediately got that punishment. Does that mean you immediately lost that money for a fine, immediately spent that time in jail? What does that mean? But okay, they've scrubbed and reset things. All right. Discovery. Although precise identification of the SCP-8209 anomaly's relationship with the Habakkuk Municipal Code required several months of clandestine testing, the initial anomaly was flagged when, at a Great Plains spanning psychiatry conference, one attendee mentioned to a Foundation operative that many of her patients suffer a brief, deep sense of loss whenever they drive through Habakkuk. As the portion of the freeway that passes through Habakkuk is a known speed trap, and the Habakkuk Municipal Code technically permits temporary confinement as a punishment for speeding, these individuals are presumed to have instantaneously suffered the subjective effect of being fined and briefly imprisoned. Oh. So, not that they literally were, but they experienced the subjective effect. So they didn't actually, like, instantaneously sit in jail and da-da-da. They experienced what sitting in jail and that fine was in an instant. Wow. Okay, addendum. Testing logs as well as relevant project team discussions and write-ups for the minutes of City Council meetings are presented below. Due to their significance in provoking Incident 0116, January 16, I guess, which led directly to the neutralization of SCP-8209, communications between Dr. Shimoni, Director Ahi Kaheli, Rabbi Issachar Levy, and or unnamed HR personnel are presented contemporaneously. There's a little footnote that says, we understand that the publication of communications between Dr. Shimoni and Rabbi Levy may make readers concerned about the confidentiality of discussions with site chaplains. And then it says in all bold, there is no reason to be concerned. I call bullshit. I think this is the Foundation's way of saying, don't worry about it. Trust them. We won't steal that information. We'll steal the information. Just keep doing it. They're evil. Okay. We have the test logs and all the communications now. December 12 testing. Testing log. Dr. Shimoni places a debit card with $1,001 upon it atop a table and instructs D14328 to quote-unquote steal it. Stealing a debit card with $1,001 or more upon it is a Class C felony under North Dakota law, carrying a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. State and federal law is explicitly grandfathered into the Habakkuk Municipal Code. D14328 complies. Immediately upon picking up the card, I'm going to stop calling him this person. Did we say? He. Yeah, it is he. We're going to call you Daryl. Daryl complies. Immediately upon picking up the card, Daryl drops the card, stares into space, and begins weeping. 5 minutes later, once Daryl has composed himself, he is asked if he knows why he was weeping. He says that he does not. Dr. Shimoni places a debit card with $10,001 upon it atop a table and suggests that Daryl, quote-unquote, steal it. Stealing a debit card with $10,001 or more dollars upon it is a Class B felony under North Dakota law, carrying a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison and a $20,000 fine. Immediately upon picking up the card, Daryl collapses upon the ground and is either unwilling or unable to communicate for the following 10 minutes. When addressed with his D number, he reacts with confusion. Okay, so he's now lost memory of ever being a D-class person. Does that mean that they basically smush the last... When they erase the time, does that mean that, like, he lost 5 years when he was instantaneously punished with 5 years in prison? Is that how that, like, collapses upon itself? In 10 years, he wasn't a D-class 10 years ago, maybe. I don't know what it is. Maybe just multiples in succession ruined his memory even more. Okay. There's a little thing that pops up here that looks like just some text between people. We have Director Ahi Kaheli, I don't know. And then Sender Dr. Oded Shimoni. So in our blue text is Oded. In our gray text is Ahi. I'm never sure on how I'm pronouncing names, but I'm guessing. Okay, just go with it. At the top, Oded has said, not sure if you read the logs from this morning yet. And then, I think we have the data we need, don't you think? And then we have Ahi replying, just run the tests, Oded, period. I've got enough paperwork to do already, period. Okay, we sassy. And then we go back to the tests and it says, Dr. Shimoni places a debit card with $50,001 upon it atop a table and suggests that Daryl steal, in quotes, it. Stealing a debit card with $50,001 or more upon it is a Class A felony under North Dakota law, carrying a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison and a $20,000 fine. The fine didn't go up. That's interesting. Daryl has not resumed speaking, but shakes his head and refuses to approach the debit card. He says, crime, not me, boy. Even though he theoretically is supposed to have already been a criminal before all this. It's just silly. That's clearly not what this is. And of course, with this system, Class D folks aren't always actually as bad a guys. It's such a fucked up world of Foundation. Oh my gosh. But okay, then we go back to messages. Ahi and Oded again. He won't approach the card. Tell him we'll terminate him if he doesn't. With respect, Director, there's a serious problem with that. If I had a nickel for all of your serious problems, I wouldn't need a pension. That would be illegal under the Habakkuk Municipal Code. I'm not going to do that, or I'd be too traumatized to write a half-decent log. That's why I've been suggesting that he take the cards instead of instructing him outright. How do you put your italics in your texts? Because, yeah, when I said illegal, I made it italics. It's cute. Tell me later. That's not important. Look, I'm not going to have one of my top people outwitted by any D class, much less a nonverbal one. He wasn't nonverbal yesterday or this morning. And last night it was dark, but the sun's out now, isn't it? Oh, shut up. I hate Ahi, officially. Looks like Habakkuk's municipal boundaries are exactly demarcated by a little dirt road a half mile or so from where you're standing. Check that, of course, but if you take him there, you can stand outside Habakkuk and have him cross that road to take the card. You're outside, he's inside, clean test. Well, I'm glad you found a loophole, asshole, but, fucking hell. Okay. And then the tests continue. Dr. Shimoni places a debit card with $50,001 upon it atop a table, crosses the dirt road, and instructs Daryl to steal it upon pain of termination. Stealing a debit card with $50,001 or more upon it is a Class A felony under North Dakota law, carrying a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison and a $20,000 fine. Daryl picks up the card and collapses to the ground, assuming an expression that Shimoni described as hollow. Ooh. Shimoni crosses the road to help him up. Upon being helped up, Daryl begins walking in an awkward circle, having apparently developed a slight limp. Oh my gosh. Presumably from lack of exercise in his past 20 subjective years of life. After 30 seconds, he focuses his gaze on Dr. Shimoni and charges at him, apparently intending to seize his sidearm. Oh my gosh. That was a terrible idea, sir, and you didn't even know, Daryl. Oh my gosh. Okay. Shimoni and Daryl topple to the earth. However, immediately upon making contact with Dr. Shimoni, Daryl goes limp and begins weeping uncontrollably. On the assumption that he ideated a desire to kill Dr. Shimoni during his 20 years of subjective imprisonment, he is presumed to have technically committed a premeditated act of attempted murder. which carries a potential life sentence under North Dakota law. Actuarial analysis suggests that he experienced approximately 40 years of imprisonment followed by subjective death. Wow. And then the messages. Oded says, done, period. Ahi, shoot. You turned that log around quickly. I hope he didn't mess you up too badly. Are you all right? He gave up immediately upon making contact. Pretty terrifying, but I've gotten torn up worse in rugby. But I don't know if I've ever seen a more broken person in my life. Don't give it too much concern. A lot of project teams just need warm bodies for chemical testing or whatnot. Also, no idea what they actually do, but the 3000 team is always on the hunt for D-class, and the only requirements they have is that the person be physically alive and not brain dead. I think your boy will still fit the bill. So that confirms that the people looking for D-class do not seem to care that they are convicts, like the implication that the Foundation has said before. So that's terrifying. Okay, and then they say, or Oded says, I can't say my primary concern was about the potential for inconvenience. And then Ahi, right, I know it gives you the warm fuzzies to go bat for these people, but the only reason they're not boiling forever in the void between universes is because we're so damn good at certain things. At containing things. If we focus too much on the costs, we get myopic, we get cold feet, and we can't afford that. So when you hold stuff up, you're not helping the world. You're just helping yourself feel better about your place in it. And frankly, Oded, that's a selfish act. We've had this conversation before, and I don't want to start an argument about it, Oded says. Ahi, what resolve! Exclamation point. Get some sleep. We're bringing you your next test subject in the morning. Also, a few guards. We want to ensure your safety if this happens again. You want the same tests run? Never mind what I want, but that is what the specs say. The ones that got approved. You don't think we can declare an end to initial testing? Oh, Dad, you wrote those specs yourself. Jeez. All of you suck. December 13 testing. The write-up for December 13 testing is omitted for purposes of brevity, being too similar to December 12 testing to justify inclusion. For access, please contact Director Kaheli's office. So that's Ahi you have to talk to. And then there's a little chunk that says, results from December 12 and December 13 testing were sufficiently convincing to provoke the establishment of a new town charter, New Habakkuk, formerly Habakkuk. The renaming of Old Habakkuk to Habakkuk II and the restriction of its town limits to a single patch of field with 3 inhabitants, and the election of Dr. Shimoni as well as Drs. Gulam Hazrat and Courtney Spangler to the Habakkuk II City Council. In the interests of urgency and to prevent disproportionate resource usage, the Foundation Legal Department declined to perform a full rewrite of Habakkuk II Municipal Code. However, the explicit grandfathering in of federal and state laws was eliminated to prevent any body besides the Habakkuk II City Council from influencing the legal code that governs SCP-8209. So this little patch of land is now officially outside of U.S. federal and North Dakota state laws, somehow. The above processes were performed between December 16th and December 28, 2020, during which time all SCP-8209 testing was suspended. During this time, Dr. Shimoni sought out spiritual support from Rabbi Issachar Levy, a chaplain at Site 19. Very fucked up, oh my gosh. So once again, blue text sender is Oded, But now we have the rabbi on the other side. Oded starts with, Shalom. I know we haven't really spoken, but my name's Oded. I'm based out of Site 48, and I could really use a little advice. The rabbi says, Sure thing, what can I help you with? It's going to sound a little bit silly. I don't think I'm an especially good Jew, or a good person, more generally. And Rabbi says, Well, Oded, it won't surprise you to learn that that's a discussion I have extremely frequently. The truth is that it's a little bit easier for us than others, for members of religion that teach that people are saved by grace, by faith, and the things that we're exposed to every day can... Then the things that we're exposed to, not then, things exposed to can really test their relationship with their religion, because once you lose your faith, it's hard to find it again. As for us, we have a list of mitzvot that demand concrete satisfaction. We have obligations that we owe to ourselves and to others, obligations that Hashem commands us to fulfill. For the Kabbalists, those mitzvot facilitate the reunion. Oh my gosh, I can't say any of these words in order. Facilitate. I can read freaking facilitate. Okay. Facilitate the reunion of the Shekinah? Question mark? With the Tiferet. And for the rest of us, they're simply our purest mode of prayer. You don't need to actively seek your faith again. If you've lost it, it'll come back. For us, what you are is what you do. And Oded responds, I mean, that's very sweet, but the things I do are exactly what I'm concerned about. In italics. Can you tell me more about the acts you refer to as the things you do? Oded, it's nothing I'd really like to get into. So what do you want to talk about? I guess I'd like to know what G/D thinks of me as I am. You are fully and entirely the recipient of Hashem's infinite love, as is all mankind. You know what I meant. Wow. Period. I very much cannot speak to that. Try your best. Have you considered speaking with a therapist as well? I have, but I'd like to finish this first. In that case, I think we'll have to talk a little bit more about what you call the things you do. The good news is that Yom Kippur is in September this year. Redemption for sins against Hashem is freely granted upon repentance. Sins against man? Question mark? You do not let up. Can't say I'm used to drawing a flowchart on this. Any odds of getting an apology accepted by those you hurt? Quite low. 2 of them are completely non-communicative as a result of what I did to them, and that's just from this week. A critical mass of sages would probably consider that non-ideal. Gehenna non-ideal? Some sages say that a lot of people spend a short time in Gehenna. I guess they'd say the same about you, but again, it's not something I or anyone living can tell you for sure. Fun. Maybe that's for the best. I wouldn't want to be forgiven too easily. Rabbi, that said, Oded, the afterlife is not a core focus of our tradition, and the idea of any Jew being driven by fear of hellfire is a little repugnant. Sounds like you just want someone to tell you that you deserve to be punished. Oded, you're probably right. I carry a lot of guilt with me, and every once in a while it reminds me it's there. I'll just be sitting down and then it'll hit me. Rabbi, if you're trying to get closer to your faith, I'd love to have a longer conversation about getting involved with Jewish life at the foundation. He continued, obviously we hold regular services at Site 19, and you're free to join virtually. You can always opt into kosher fare if you decide it's something you're interested in too. We can also add you to the list for Passover safe rations, send over a home Shabbat kit, put you on the call a list and or ensure that you're adequately supplied with ritual items. Apples and honey on Rosh Hashanah, even a little plastic grogger on Purim. If you're not in the mezuzah program already, I can get one to you for installation. Since Site 48 doesn't have a Jewish chaplain, I'm authorized to cover your transit to and from Site 19 for Seder, as well as a one-day trip during Sukkot to Sheikh the Lulav. I'm doing pretty good with some of these words, but I do not know a lot of them. But you seem more concerned with your incorporating Jewish values into your 9 to 5 directly. Oded responds, well, yes, because that's the part of my day during which I break people's minds. Yeah, fair, buddy. And the rabbi goes back. Honestly, you know and I know that keeping your hands clean here is impossible. But there's a lovely quote from Pirkei Avot. You are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. Keep looking out for the folks under you, D-class included, as much as you can, and if you're ever on a project that you consider completely irredeemable, it might be a career hit, but you can often transfer out. And just remember, you are loved, you and everyone else still have a share of the world to come, and you remain both completely able to do good and utterly bound to do so. Oded, that's kind of a pat answer, don't you think? Rabbi says, frankly, Oded, if you want to self-flagellate, that's your right as an American. But you don't obtain redemption through suffering. You obtain it through repentance. You obtain it through repairing the world. And that's the end of their messages. Now we have emails with Ahi and Oded. So, excuse me. It looks like Oded is deciding to do exactly what the rabbi has kind of said. Well, it'll maybe be a hit on your career, but if you really don't think you can be somewhere, you can ask to be transferred out. And let's see how that goes. So, to Site 48 Director Ahi Kaheli, in brackets, A. Kaheli at scp.foundation. Oh, hold on. My throat is too unhappy. So it's to Director Ahi, and then from Dr. Oded Shimoni, email being oshimoni2 at scp.foundation. Subject: rotation request. Dear Director Kaheli, I trust that this email finds you well. I'm reaching out to formally request a rotation off of the SCP-8209 project team. SCP-8209 is nothing short of subjective torture, and I'm deeply uncomfortable with the prospect of more rounds of testing of an effect that I'm fairly confident that we understand. In truth, I am also disturbed by the prospect that SCP-8209 will ultimately be used to discipline humanoid anomalies. Usage of SCP-8209 for disciplinary purposes is as flagrantly unethical as the use of a Stockdale or an electric collar. If its mechanisms of pain were not invisible, the obscenity of its deployment would be obvious to all. In sum, working for the SCP-8209 project team is utterly irreconcilable with my moral and spiritual commitments, and I would like to leave as soon as is practicable. All the best, Dr. Oded Shimoni. And you want to know what the email back is? To Oded from Ahi, subject rotation request. Oded, I hope that email felt good to write. Unfortunately, that's not a request that we can accommodate. My understanding is that the Habakkuk 2 City Council is legally mandated to meet January 1 with follow-up testing planned. I eagerly await your findings. Ahi. Because unfortunately, Shimoni is at the head of the city council. But guess what? January is when things go weird. This all ends around January. this whole thing ends. So I have a little bit of hope that Oded finds some kind of loophole to make sure that this whole thing doesn't continue. And I want to point out that this is something that I felt, and I've said sometimes about these things, if you're really in this world where they're testing and the results don't change, you've done all the testing that you need to do on something, the results aren't changing, why are you continuing to do it the same way? You're not doing anything that would make sense to have different results. Continuing the same thing, expecting different results, is the definition of insanity. What the hell are they doing? You're just torturing them. The part, though, about, like, using it as discipline is deplorable and stuff is like, yeah, but they are deplorable. How is that part surprising? I'm like, they're evil, yeah, but are they really that bad of scientists? Is basically my question. And I guess, yeah. Because he's just like, and? Go. Rude. But here we go. We have the transcript of first council meeting and subsequent testing, January 1. Council members Dr. Oded Shimoni, Dr. Gulam Hazrat, and Dr. Courtney Spangler enter the interim city council chambers defined as a 100 square foot plot at the center of Habakkuk 2. Shimoni, I call this meeting of the Habakkuk 2 City Council to order. We have reached quorum. Courtney, could you talk me through what we're approving today? Spangler. The long and short of it is that we don't know how, if at all, death is experienced within SCP-8209. That is, whether a punishment that would be fatal in the real world is experienced as such. If people experience a loss of sensation at the moment of subjective death, then two identically fatal punishments would be expected to have identical responses. If they don't, if they keep experiencing even beyond the typical point of death, then it might vary. Shimoni. Does the second one have to be quite so long? Like, wouldn't we be able to tell the difference between 2 minutes and an hour? Spangler, I suppose we would, but people can have very different responses, so the difference in duration would have to be so immense that it would overpower any plausible difference in reaction to the same duration. Shimoni, can we put it at just a day then? I really don't see why we'd need to do 3 months. Spangler, sure, for the chairman, anything. I don't like this. Hazrat, all right, let me annotate my copy real quick. Oded, would this language work for you? Shimoni, yeah, fine. Hazrat, Courtney? Spangler, works for me as well. Shimoni, we will now vote on Councilman Spangler's legislation. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Aye. Hazrat, aye. Spangler, aye. Shimoni, carried. Not sure we're following Robert's rules exactly, but it seems like the old city council didn't either. So I guess whatever they're doing is they're about to test two different D classes, probably getting fatal punishments, probably one inside and one outside of the border of the little city, but I don't know for sure. Maybe they're doing one and then another just to confirm that they're going to work the exact same way, but I don't know why with one of them they would have to wait if it wasn't kind of funky. But anyway, we'll find out probably, maybe. Okay. Hazrat says, oh, by the way, Oded, I have a really strange testing idea that I haven't fully written up the enabling legislation for. But I don't want to wait until February 1st. Is there some route to hold a special session? Because I can draft it right here, but I'd rather not keep everyone in for an hour while I finalize it and get permissions. Shimoni, yeah, no problem. I think I saw something in the rules about this. 1 second. Okay, here it is. As I have the backing of 1/3 or more of the Habakkuk City Council and am the chairman of the Habakkuk 2 City Council and am the chairman of the Habakkuk 2 City Council, I invoke my right under municipal law to schedule a special city council session with 1 or more days of notice. Gulam, when works for you? Hazrat, do we want to go with noon on the 13th? I'll send the draft over next week. You'll see why I'm so excited. Spangler, works for me. Shimoni, yeah, works for me as well. Okay, I schedule the city council session to be held at 12 p.m. on January 13th. I move that we adjourn the city council session. All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. Aye. Spangler, aye. Hazrat, nay. What? I like y'all's company so much. Spangler, what a sweetie. Shimoni, carried. Okay, let's get some lunch. Because it was still 2 to 1. That's so silly. Okay, I like that they're being a little silly for a minute in their little fake city council. That is real. Okay, and then we have, instead of the usual text blocks that are I put this in a computer, we have a little bubble that looks like it's supposed to be mimicking notebook paper. It's lined, but then the text that goes on top of it isn't quite sized to the lines, so it doesn't quite line up with the lines of the notebook paper. It's kind of cute. Okay. It says, in the January 1 City Council session, the following sentences were added to the Habakkuk 2 Municipal Code. Oh, wow. Oh, okay, so these are the tests that Spangler was trying to do. So the first sort of way to test death is consumption of 1 jelly bean within Habakkuk 2 is punishable by full submersion in water for 120 seconds. And then second, consumption of more than 5 jelly beans within Habakkuk 2 within a 2-minute period is punishable by full submersion in water for 24 hours. Now I want to point out a little hiccup there, because if you eat 1 jelly bean, you're in the water for 120 seconds. That is 2 minutes. And then you eat 5 jelly beans. If they were trying to eat the jelly beans one at a time, and you hadn't gotten to 5 yet, would you get interrupted every time with being underwater for 2 minutes each time? And I mean, I have to imagine if this person hasn't prepared themselves to take a deep breath and prepare, that they would drown. And I think that is the point. I mean, submersion under the water for 24 hours is definitely test if they die, is the point. But, I imagine the way that they have to test it, instead of making them drown each time, is going to be put all 5 jelly beans into your face at once instead of 1 at a time. Because that would create chaos, I think. that would be an untended variable. They haven't fixed that guy. Okay, so we are after halfway. We know what the next test is going to be. I'm going to run an ad. We are definitely on track to read another SCP, so you can brace yourselves for another one of these from Nuriakea. So in our little break, I'm going to be making sure I know which one that'll be after this. But here you go, 1 minute ad, that's all. I'm sorry, but we are going to do an ad real quick. Here you go. 1 minute. Okay, and now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to check in. This is the one that we're going to do, and I have read that one. We are in the middle of reading this one. And here you are. And I yoink. And I put all the rest of it away. I put you over here. Okay. Little lemon guy. Oh wait, have we already done you? I know that little face. Have I just looked at this before? Could be that I just looked at it before. I'm gonna do a double check real quick, because this feels illegal. Oh no, there's only one of them. So I've seen this before, but I have not read it. Oh, it's long. Oh, it's like long. This is definitely all we're reading, and we might not finish it. We'll see if I can pull off it. I don't know. Or maybe it's just being slow. The little scrolly bar might just be being very slow. Anyway, okay. We are back from ad. That was our little break. If you would like to do some redeems, this is the time. Otherwise, I will just start reading again. I'll take the stuff off the screen for a second to give you a moment. Would we like to do some redeems? I'll drop some humming because you did redeem that and I didn't do as much as I was gonna do. But you guys have all shut up, so there's been no more cannibal threats. So I think you've earned it. I'll do a little bit of humming before you put that off, but I'm not gonna make it an official one. I'll just hum the one. Hehehe. Alright, there has been no redeems. I am mildly concerned that all of the little dozen of you that are in here are asleep, and I'm excited about that you are getting eeps. You're very cozy, it is very good. But we are going to move on with more spooky readings, I guess. Here we go. Welcome back, little text. And we go right back in. Okay, so the testing log. We know that we're gonna do something about the jelly beans. Here we go. This is a new D class. Gonna check. Okay, we have two ladies. I'm gonna say Desiree and Desdemona. That's our girls. Our new D class. Our new ladies. Okay. D28416, Desiree, consumed one jelly bean and immediately collapsed to the ground, breathing heavily. She then lost consciousness for a period of approximately 5 seconds, presumably due to her high level of stress. Upon coming to, she had no explanation for her prior behavior. However, her voice has remained raspy for reasons believed to be psychosomatic. You know that she was supposedly underwater without any preparation. It's because her airway got all messed up. Whatever. And then there's a little piece. I don't know what this is, and I'm a little bit pissed off about this. What the hell? Show me what this is. It has square brackets. It says a portion of this testing log has been excised at the request of Director Kaheli. You have already been labeled asshole of the story, Kaheli. I don't like that you're now censoring part of this science. It's an evil science. But what are you trying to hide, you little shit? Okay, and then we move on. No interview is likely to be completed for D32181, Desdemona, as she has not yet emerged from her coma and is likely unlikely to maintain verbal or communicative capacity. Surgeries are continuing and are expected to partially mitigate self-inflicted damage sustained to her eyes, throat, and hands after jelly bean consumption. What do you mean self-inflicted damage to her eyes? She was sort of submerged underwater. I don't think it's self-inflicted. What does that mean? Be specific. Okay. I'm guessing that the portion removed was the part where they actually made Desdemona take her jelly beans. But I don't know. Here we go with post-testing commentary. Spangler. Big day for this project. We are essentially unbound by the limits of the human body. I genuinely don't know any other tool at the Foundation's disposal with this kind of flexibility. Hazrat. For me, the cool part is that we get to use this for modeling. If we want to know the psychic implications of entering a weird portal, we can just say, hey, if you watch more than 50 frames of Mary Poppins, you will be punished by entering this weird portal. Spangler, do we know for sure that SCP-8209 can force a brain to subjectively experience something it can't reliably simulate? Hazrat. No, I think at some point we should write a law that says something like, if you blankety blank, you will be punished with whatever's written on this piece of paper in the large velvet hat. And the piece of paper says something like, you will be forced to receive $10,000 or something. But the D class won't know that. So then if their reactions are uniformly positive, despite having no way to reliably simulate their experience in advance, we'll know that what we're dealing with, a predictive tool. Okay. That's interesting. Spangler. Also, the more I think about it, those D-class didn't know about the laws we just passed. But they obviously still were impacted, so my guess is that your bill would work. Is that what we're passing on the 13th? Hazrat. No. The legislation I'm writing is going to blow your socks off. Spangler. Excited. By the way, Odette, are you good? You've been pretty quiet. Shimoni. Yeah, I'm good. Hazrat. Poor guy probably ate a jelly bean. Hazrat and Spangler. Wow, rude. Oh, goodness. I don't love this implication that only the religious guy is feeling the moral implications thing, because you do not need to be religious to have the moral justice sensitivity and stuff. Like, it's not necessary. But in this story, he is the one that is feeling it, and those are the people that are not feeling it. That's just how that is. Hi, Majestic Hippo. Yes! Seems like Chad is very eepy, so you can go ahead and lurk with the rest of them. Get real eepy. It looks like this is about to be another email to the director from Oded, probably asking, please remove me, or, oh no, I am leaving, basically. I'm very nervous, though, about what we're passing on the 13th. Before, I thought maybe it's so close to the 16th, when whatever happened. So I gotta know, how did that happen? And I assumed that Hazrat was gonna try something like, how do we blow this up? How do we really push this? How do we stop being evil or something like that? And it sounds a lot more like Hazrat and Spangler are just like amazed by the how does that even work, which is a very classic scientist thing. I mean, it's you get excited about, whoa, how does that work? But in this world where it's paired with, and the implications are awful, you don't love to see it. So I don't think he's planning to pass something nice. I think it's about to be very dark. And then it's those 3 days where stuff is happening, and that's when Oded makes sure that things go better. Curious is good in science, yes. It's just this Foundation world that's a little bit less good. Oh, yeah, one use for good. Yeah. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, Dad. I moved my mic way, way down so that it wasn't as loud as it could have been. I don't know if you heard the sneezes at all then, but... Oh, you did. Okay, thank you. Oh. Okay, going back to it. My God. The next email. To Site 48 Director Ahi Kaheli. We know his email. He's the asshole. The asshole. From Dr. Oded Shimoni. Our dude not feeling too good about this. And subject is notification of upcoming departure. So I think that this is Oded saying, fuck you guys. So here we go. Dear Director Kaheli, sorry to trouble you on a Friday evening. No, he's not sorry. Kaheli's been a dick. Don't be sorry. I'm reaching out to give my 2 weeks notice. My last day will be January 15th. It has become clear that my work at the SCP Foundation is ethically untenable. I know that we have a second City Council meeting scheduled on January 13th. At that meeting, I intend to resign my seat in the City Council, with my resignation taking effect within a few days. This will give you a few days to select a replacement and have them become a resident of Habakkuk 2 in time to run in the special election. I consider my time at the Foundation to have been the most fascinating and enlightening experience of my life thus far, and I'm deeply grateful to you and the rest of the Site 48 team. Though I know I'll be amnesticized upon my exit, I hope to remember these years as a happy, wistful mystery. And though I cannot ask any of you to stay in touch, I do hope that you'll remember me with fondness as well. All the best, Oded. Considering how much of a dick Ahi has been to you about this, that was a very nice email. Leave it on good terms, bud. Good job. And now we have text. This is interesting. It says record purged in square brackets. Not sure what this is. So I don't know who this is to, but it says sender is Director Ahi Kaheli. It was a great leaving email, yeah. Honestly, if you're looking to quit, copy paste that and then make some appropriate edits. Okay. But here we go. I'm guessing that this is a 07 what 05 council, what the top dudes. I'm forgetting. It's been a minute since SCP. As I kind of vaguely look over it, this is looking interesting. But we have a hey saying, "Good morning. This is Site 48 Director Ahi Kaheli. During my orientation, I was told to reach out to you if and only if I had an employee who intended to quit their job at the Foundation because they considered their work to be in violation of their moral or religious beliefs." So there's a specific... I don't like that there's a specific for if your moral beliefs... That means Buddy needed to lie and say, turns out, I want to do different work. Thank you, though. But he doesn't know, and something's about to happen because you morally didn't want to do this. That's not good. Something's going to happen. I don't like this. I don't like this. Okay. Then he says, I'm reaching out about Dr. Oded Shimoni. Please let me know what information to send over. And then whoever this is responds, good morning, Director Kaheli, period. We already have all the information we need, period. Ahi responds, that's a little disconcerting, but appreciated. Mystery person says, he showed you how to use the italics. That's less appreciated. Ahi says, stop laughing at me about my italics. But also, you clearly looked at our text message history. That's uncomfortable. That's very uncomfortable. Okay. That part, remember when they said, don't worry about talking to chaplains, it's fine. It's clearly not. Alright, and now we have an email. This is He must have done that text immediately after the email he got, and now this is the response. Here we go. Subject: re-notification of upcoming departure. Oded, we'll be sorry to see you go. Just to check the box, you'll be having an exit interview with an HR liaison from Site 19 on January 15th. I've taken the liberty of putting a 1-hour block on your calendar that day. Happy trails, Ahi. And now, we have the transcript of second council meeting and subsequent testing, January 13th. Oh, I don't like this. I'm very nervous. What did Hazrat do? Okay. Council members Dr. Oded Shimoni, Dr. Ghulam Hazrat, and Dr. Courtney Spangler enter the interim city council chambers defined as a 100-square-foot plot at the center of Habakkuk 2. Shimoni, I call this meeting of the Habakkuk 2 City Council to order. We have reached quorum. Ghulam, I know you requisitioned a D class in advance of this meeting. What I don't know is why he's still in Fargo. Hazrat, you didn't read the legislation? Spangler, I didn't either, truthfully. Shimoni, it's been a busy week. Hazrat, it's one sentence and the write-up is 2 pages, but it's fine. I can talk through it. He continues, or they continue. So it occurred to me, we keep writing bills that apply within Habakkuk 2, right? Oh, you fucking asshole. I figured as soon as we said still in Fargo. I don't like this. Spangler says municipal laws are almost tautologically written to apply within their relevant municipality, no? Hazrat, sure, you know that. I know that. I was just thinking, what if nobody told the anomaly? Shimoni, reading the document. Oh, this could be a real normalcy risk. We de facto create a new anomaly. From now on, if this works, then if anyone satisfies the fact pattern anywhere, they'll whisk themselves behind the veil. What does that mean? Spangler, I don't think that'll be a problem. I don't imagine that anyone's ever satisfied this fact pattern before, or that they ever will again. For hygiene purposes, though, Ghulam, would you be willing to repeal this at the next meeting? Hazrat, yes, if I'm still on the city council. I figure that once I win the foundation star for this, I'm not sure I'll keep being able to get away for these meetings. Oh, shut up. Shimoni, too busy with the O5s. Hazrat, yes, and signing autographs. Shimoni, on the topic of turnover, though, we do need to talk about the elephant in the room. Hazrat, Shimoni, Courtney, I'm giving you the chairmanship when I depart. The language you'll be using to call the special election should be in Section 3 of the Habakkuk 2 Municipal Code. You need to call it within 10 days of my departure and hold it within 3 weeks. I know Ahi is going to want some time to find a new person, so just let me know what day you want my resignation to be effective upon. Spangler, I've got a pretty busy week and a half coming up, and I know quorum is all but 2, so I'm not too worried about needing a third person going into the February 1 meeting. Want to make your resignation effective on January 20? Shimoni, yeah, that works. I officially announce my resignation, effective on January 20 at 12 p.m. Upon resignation, Councilwoman Spangler will assume the chairperson of the Habakkuk 2 City Council. Oh, thank you for the follow, Blow Chips. Welcome, welcome. Here is some dances. I'm gonna give you jelly dances. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, wait. Accidental nodders. But thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Look at the little wave. That's great. Oh, okay. So Shimoni has said, I resign. And then Spangler says, that's all it takes? Shimoni, that's all it takes. Spangler, we're going to miss you. Shimoni, appreciate it. Can't say it's mutual since I'll be amnesticized to hell, but I have enjoyed working with you both. Hazrat, that's flat out depressing, but before the person you are now enters oblivion, let's pass this bill, alright? No, I don't like this. I'm very nervous about this. I don't like how this is about to go. Shimoni, no edits from me. We will now vote on Councilman Hazrat's legislation. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Aye. Hazrat. Aye. Spangler. Aye. Shimoni carried. I move that we adjourn the special city council session. All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. Aye. Spangler aye. Hazrat aye. Shimoni carried. Gulam, let's see what your man in Fargo can do. I'm very nervous about this. Okay. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought. I looked ahead a little bit, but it's still nervous. Okay, so we're back to the little notebook paper looking cutout, and it says, in the January 13 special city council session, the following sentences were added to the Habakkuk 2 municipal code. Globally, watching any set of 50 frames from Disney cartoon Steamboat Willie, consuming more than 2 ounces of meat from a sheep's head, intentionally imitating a chicken, and urinating directly into a conch shell within a 60-second period is punishable by being told the funniest joke that you've ever heard. I'm a little nervous. Oh no. Oh gosh. Oh, this is about to be wild in a little bit, but not yet. Okay, so here's the testing log. In Fargo, North Dakota, while a 60-second timer runs, the next D class, we'll call him Derek, rapidly consumes several mouthfuls of meat from a sheep's head as a 6-second block of Steamboat Willie plays. After chewing and swallowing the final mouthful, he hurriedly makes bok noises, retrieves a conch shell from a nearby table, and looks around for the bathroom. Finding none, and with 10 seconds remaining on the clock, he drops his pants and underwear and urinates into the conch, with the contents spilling onto the testing room floor. Immediately, he begins laughing uproariously for 11 seconds, stops, looks around confusedly, hurriedly drops the conch, and pulls his pants and underwear back up. Post-testing commentary. Shimoni. I no longer believe that this particular law has the capacity to be a threat to normalcy. Hazrat. We could just end murder, right? It'd take some fiddling around with, but doesn't this mean that we could basically end murder in an instant? Spangler. Oded, not complaining, but it's insane that you're handing over this project. Shimoni. It's going to be a whole new world. This is not going to be good. Oded knew to leave. I don't think this is going to go well. Ugh. Okay. And then we have Fire Suppression Department, classified in giant, bright red text. The following information is restricted to FSD internal affairs. Unauthorized access is strictly forbidden. If you have accessed this section without authorizations, close your session now and remain where you are. We know how to find you. That's fucked up. Okay. But here we go. Incident ZBDA 34. Dr. Oded Shimoni. Transcript of interview 15th January 2021. I think this is our record purged person from before, the 05 that we're talking to, but it looks like it's Shimoni and redacted person. We're going to say RP for record purged or redacted person. Shimoni. I don't want to get too in the weeds on this. Oh, and I think that this is the exit interview, basically, right? Okay. I don't want to get too into the weeds on this. The truth is, I just get tired of hurting people. I had a really good conversation with a chaplain from Site 19. Well, I don't know if he'd describe it that way, but I found it helpful. I'm not arrogant enough to think that my leaving will make anything better for anyone. Honestly, Director Cahelli might be right. It might be a little bit selfish, but I've made my peace with that. I spent years dragging my soul through the mud, and I don't want to do it anymore. RP. Tell me more about this conversation. If they go after the freaking rabbi, I'll scream. I need to find a pillow to scream into because I will be too loud, but... Okay. Shimoni. Well, I hopped on the line and I just wrote this poor guy down until he said, "Hey, Odette, you're probably going to Gehenna." RP. Apologies, but what's Gehenna? Shimoni. It's like purgatory, but worse. Judaism doesn't really have hell, but it's a place you're purified before you enter the world to come, and it's not a pleasant place. But that's only half the point. I realized that if I looked at my life with clarity, no rationalization, not pulling any punches, I was just so far from what I believed in, and this struck me as the only way back home. RP. Understood. And you genuinely, literally believe in such a place? Shimoni. I suppose that I do. RP. Shimoni. But to tell you the truth, I don't see what the point of that question was. RP. I don't want to get off track. I was just surprised. No, there's something about you believing in that place that is an alarm bell. Maybe it's illegal for the Foundation workers to properly believe in some of these religious places and things, maybe? Anyway. I don't see what the question was. Don't get off track. I was just surprised. Shimoni, with respect, I'm quite used to having my beliefs belittled, and I'd rather not continue that on my way out the door. RP. Clearly the question went over poorly. I wasn't trying to mock you. It just reminded me of something. Shimoni. I'm sorry if I overreacted. RP. No, you're clearly defensive for a reason. I'm very sorry that you haven't been heard out in the past. And I'll make sure that goes in the exit report. Footnote 2. The Fire Suppression Department does not file exit reports. So you're just full of lies. Shimoni. I appreciate that, and again, very sorry for biting your head off. RP. All that afterlife talk, well, it just took me back to my tactical theology days a little bit, almost nostalgic. Shimoni. That's a really cool department. You did afterlife research? Record purged. RP. I did. Oh, maybe it's they said stuff they shouldn't have. RP, not a they don't get to be talked about person. I don't know. Anyway, Shimoni. Well, we've got a lot left of this hour, and I don't have all that much left to say, so what did I accidentally remind you of? RP, just something from a previous project. I really shouldn't be bringing it up. Shimoni, over my clearance level? RP, not technically, no. Shimoni, should I make some popcorn? RP, it really, really isn't like that. It's not an info hazard or anything, but it's a bad thing to know. Oh, no. Shimoni, you've gotten me curious. RP, it's hard to tell a scientist this, but you should stop being curious. It's the kind of thing that you only think that you want to see. Shimoni, now I'm not too good at puppy eyes, but... RP, you'd forget it tomorrow anyway. Shimoni, laughing, so tell me now. RP, you really don't want to read this. Shimoni, can I be the judge of that? RP, fine. Let me pull it up. The RP person, the redacted person, produces and hands Dr. Oded Shimoni the write-up for SCP-6130. Oh no. Oh boy, we're gonna have to read this one. I'm clicking it. You can't stop me. It's happening. It's taking a while. How long is this? Said that it only took a minute and a half to read. Oh, there's a button for level 5 credentials. That makes it a little bit longer. Okay. I'm not reading it loud because I'm just trying to get a general. Basically, it's that everyone is going to hell. That's it. Everyone, always, everywhere. Fine. As according to this magic robot that tells us so. We're going back. It's taking its time to load, but we're going back. Okay. I figured it was going to be that by the next 2 lines that I kind of subtly read ahead at. But anyway. Everybody go to hell. That's what we learn. Okay. So there's half-minute silence reading, kind of like I just did. And then Shimoni says softly, everyone. RP. Forever. Shimoni. But I'm Jewish. I don't even believe in hell. RP. If I don't believe in oceans, what does that change? Shimoni. Oh my god. Heavy breathing. Shimoni. Ho Feng Shan. RP. Yes. Shimoni. I don't know. Lincoln? RP. Yes. Shimoni. My little brother. RP. Trust me. I took it hard too. Oh my god. Shimoni walks over to the closet and grabs a small box, opening it to reveal a small array of trays filled with pills. He dumps some at random in his hand. RP. What the hell are you about to take? Shimoni. Amnestics. Want some? RP. There's no way you can find the right dose that quickly. Shimoni. I don't care if this shit takes me back to kindergarten. RP. You should care. Your time here is important. Shimoni. What? RP. Think about it, doctor. It's the only time you or anyone else is ever allowed to be happy. Shimoni sighs and dumps the pills into the box. Shimoni. I'm being a coward. RP. I'm so sorry. Shimoni. Don't be. I forced your hand. RP. Well, maybe. But I think that there's a part of me that wanted to show you. I've just kept it a secret for so long. Shimoni. God. RP. It's been a hard few decades. You've got a hard few decades ahead of you. Shimoni. And a harder eternity. RP. Well, that you're not alone in. Shimoni. Will I be able to see my family down there? RP. I don't know. All I know is what's on that sheet I showed you. Shimoni. I might need to be alone for a while. RP. I understand. Shimoni. Right. Before you leave, though, I guess I'd like to retract my resignation, if that's an option. I was thinking this just a couple of sentences back. Oh my gosh. RP says, are you sure? It'd be great to have you back, but... Shimoni. Yes. I think I can do some good here, whatever that makes of me. RP. All right. Welcome back, Doctor. Shimoni forces a smile. Incident ZBDA34 is considered resolved. Now, before I scroll further, the thought that I had, and that sentence basically confirmed, record purged is the person that is secret and who is lying about all of this. He has been contacted by Ahi because if someone is going to be sensitive to the moral, religious, I belong in heaven or not kind of thing, then they will probably be manipulated by you're going to hell anyway, must be what they're thinking. I wonder if he had still said, oh, that's awful. Oh, God, get me out of here faster. Like, what if he said, I need to be away from here as fast as I can to do something better with my life? Like, what if that was his response? And if that was his response, what would they have done then? Because I get the feeling that these guys are not, this RP person is the secret person that is full of lies. That's what that footnote about, like, that's not a true thing is about. So, now I'm scrolling. Evil manipulators, pieces of shit. Okay. Oh my gosh. So, Oded messages the rabbi again, and he says, hey, it's Friday night, so I know it's going to be a while before you see this. I don't think I'm making it to Yom Kippur, but I've got good news and bad news. I can't tell you the bad news. The good news is that I'm repairing the world. Don't tell me. We don't like this. And here we are. The third council meeting. January 16th. So this is the very next day. They had the meeting on the... Or no, not the very next day. A couple days later. It's the very next day from the interview. But a couple days after that he's calling this meeting. And here we go. Third council meeting, January 16th, transcript. Council member Dr. Oded Shimoni enters the interim city council chambers defined as a 100 square foot plot at the center of Habakkuk 2. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's pulling something sneaky and I don't like this at all. Oh, maybe it's good. Okay, I don't know. Okay. Shimoni. It is 11:59 p.m. on January 15th, so it is not yet January 16th. As I have the backing of 1/3 or more of the Habakkuk 2 City Council and am the chairman of the Habakkuk 2 City Council, I invoke my right under municipal law to schedule a special city council session with 1 day or more of notice. I schedule the special city council session to be held at 12:01 a.m. on January 16th. Shut up, Cage. No, that was cute. So he's showing up not yet January 16th. He is there at the last minute. January 15th. He's decided this and he's gone and he is like, well, it's the day before, so that counts as a full day. And I call for it to be tomorrow. At the very, very beginning of tomorrow. So he says that. He says, I schedule it to be held at 12:01. Shimoni checks his watch, waits, and checks his watch again. Shimoni. It is now 12:01 on January 16th. I call this meeting of the Habakkuk 2 City Council to order. The quorum requirements for special city council sessions require that no more than 2 members of Habakkuk 2 City Council be absent. Exactly 2 members of the Habakkuk 2 City Council are absent. We have reached quorum. This little shit found the exact loophole, and they shouldn't have allowed this. They should have had 5 people knowing their municipal code stuff so that this kind of unilateral decision making didn't happen. But here we are. We're doing the unilateral decision making because, of course. Don't worry about it. That's not real. Okay. Anyway, Shimoni. We will now vote on Councilman Shimoni's legislation. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Aye. Carried. Shimoni. I move that we adjourn the special city council session. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Aye. Carried. Shimoni withdraws his sidearm from his belt and shoots himself under the chin. So now, he is left, but he is still city council chairman for 4 days. His resignation ends on the 20th. And then our other person can come in and do this. But Dr. Courtney is going to need to get somebody else to get in there as well. So whatever he has just done, which I'm about to read, is forcibly going to have to continue for the next couple of days. This is wild. I'm stressed. I'm just a little bit stressed. Okay. The notes. Oh, this is the very end of it. And then we have the little footnotes I've already read. So this is the end. Oh my God. Shimoni. Oh my goodness. Okay. In the January 16th special city council session, the following sentences were added to the Habakkuk 2 Municipal Code. all clauses within the Habakkuk 2 Municipal Code that provide for criminal penalties for any action, actions, or states of being and were passed on or before February 15, 2021 are henceforth null and void. 2. As of 12:05 a.m. on January 16, 2021, neither the Habakkuk 2 City Council nor any citizen of Habakkuk 2 nor any other body is authorized to make any changes to the Habakkuk 2 Municipal Code. Bam! Nobody can do nothing ever, even in the next 4 days. And here's the real one that really makes me happy with Oded. I don't think the shoot self part was necessary, but I guess he went for it. The act of death is universally criminal, punishable by 10,000 years in paradise, renewable at will. They tried to lie to him to force him to stay and to manipulate the system and hurt these anomalies, these little weirdos and freaks like myself. And instead of going along with that, he said, I know how I'll punish them. I'll punish them out of what I think is now just been confirmed, that we all go to hell. I've just said, no the fuck we don't. No the fuck we don't. And universally criminal to everywhere. So the fact that people that I thought it must have been just like a lie. I thought that it was going to be bullshit at the start, where that little front code was, where it was like level 1, everybody can access it. This is what happens. People that are, oh my gosh, why am I forgetting the word? Reincarnated. There you go. Reincarnated or whatever. Maybe something. Anyway, people that come back to life, that's the real word. They have this sense of bliss. I thought that was just some bullshit. I thought that was like, oh yeah, that's a weird thing, huh? Lies. No, that's literally what happens, because this person that died still comes back, but the way that this happens, they have instantaneously experienced 10,000 years in paradise that is constantly renewing. They've just experienced, bam, an eternity of paradise in their head, in their body. That is so beautiful. That is so sweet. Did we have to do the schmooshide, though? Like, I guess he just didn't want to get manipulated again by the foundation, maybe? Like, I can't let them undo this part, maybe? But, or punish me for it? I don't know. But this is so, that none of you who were just like, hey, actually the time is this, you two little idiots, you're not gonna hear and be like, that's actually really beautiful, that's so sweet, you're not gonna be here and cry with me? Rude. Ugh, fine. But okay. That was 8209. Where is the... Oh, there it is. Thanks, Fat, you cry with me. And Cage, you just keep lurking, little panda. Fine. Fine. Alright. Well, we have one more that I kind of have planned that's super long. And I think I won't. I'm being a little shut. I'm sorry. But, I don't feel great. And instead, I want to just read a couple of the 2-minute mysteries before we wrap up, basically. I just want to read a couple of them when I feel like it, but I do not want to commit to something that long. And it is the next one. And then after that is time for Hammy. So I don't want to skip an order. I just want to do a shorter. So we're gonna do the 2-minute mysteries who I had for a bit. We're gonna pop those guys up. Take away the spooky warning, replace it with the 2-minute warning. Pop that away. And then we're gonna do the 2-minute mysteries reads. If you have a redeem, go ahead and do that right now. But if there's none, I will start my 2-minute mysteries. Well, it's right now. I just said. The unfortunate delay. It is redeem time. Go ahead, Muggles. Go ahead. It's now. Go ahead. Where? What the hell? Right here, you did a shit. Oh, my motto went wobbly. Yay, it's Herbert's. Oh, you sing, oh. Okay. Right, boop. And that's all I can do of that. Okay. See him. Now reading frog. Oops. Incorrect. Okay, here we go. Oh, and them brushes. Here we go. There was Herbert. And before we do brushes, Cage, I will summarize for you. If you can hear me, you just give me a thumbs up. And then I will do the summary for you. Because if you're still split and you cannot listen at that moment, I won't do it right away. But if you're ready to hear, I will go. I can do summary and you can know. It's all good. It's okay to have split attention. You are a mod. You do so many things. Okay. So basically, we have Oded working for them in this weird project where, for whatever reason, this one city in Oklahoma, or not Oklahoma, oh my god, North Dakota, kind of rhymes, North Dakota, you feel whatever municipal law maximum punishment immediately when you do the crime. So they do a couple tests. It's really awful. Oded, our doctor who's doing it, really doesn't like it. Tells boss, hey, what do we have to do this so repeatedly? We know the result. Can we stop? And they're like, no. And they continue to be like, hey, what the hell? And they're like, no. And then they talk to a rabbi because Jewish. And he's like, hey, I don't like what I'm doing. And the rabbi's like, yeah, well, this is a bad job for that. But this is the way it is. And Oded says, you know what, then I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna give my resignation, but I can't leave right away. I'm forced to sit in on this fake council city meeting because now they've made it so that it's very specifically this one little square patch and not the full city that can get hurt this way. You know, if you automatically are imprisoned for 10 years for whatever you did. That's a lot to put on a bunch of people in the city. So good for them that they moved elsewhere, but it was more about limiting variables than being kind to people, I think. And so they make their fake city council that's got 3 people, and Oded is the chairman. And so they have a meeting. They say they're going to test a couple things. They do test these things. One of the things they test is this really weird test where a bunch of weird stuff happens, and instead of having a punishment, they have the punishment is you are told the funniest joke you've ever heard. And they do the thing, and it's in a different town. So this law affects not even just here in this city anymore, which is what municipal laws is supposed to do, but the anomaly doesn't know that. The anomaly just is attached to this particular place, and whatever laws are accurate. And municipal law is always written to include only these city people. And then like federal and state laws grandfathered in. So how did that work? Well, it worked in this other city in North Dakota. The person did the things, and he laughed his butt off and immediately forgot what the heck. So you can have a punishment that's not really a punishment. It can affect other places. These are important. They also do tests that's like, we could kill them. You're submerged in water if you do bad, so it pretty much kills you. You're in a coma forever. And stuff like that. But Oded is still fighting this, and he decides, I'm going to resign, and writes a very well-worded resignation letter. And if you want tips on how to do that, go look at this and get some tips there, and then make some edits that are appropriate for you and your work, and then you can use that. It's very nicely worded. And the response to this is going against my moral beliefs was the asshole boss said to some redacted person, some super secret person, hey, I was told to tell someone if someone ever refuses work because of religious or moral reasons. And the person says, yeah, we already know who you're talking about, and imply we know the messages the two of you have had. So super spooky and messed up. And then boss says, yeah, I've made an exit interview for you. Exit interview is so coincidentally with the redacted person in the end. And redacted person, we see in a footnote, directly lies. And then redacted person kind of goads our very curious scientists, because scientists be curious, and religious man, Oded, into wanting to know this tidbit that our redacted person knows. And they show him this file, and it says, literally everyone, always, everywhere, goes to hell. And this breaks Oded. And Oded says, okay, I think I'm going to stay. And the redacted person is like, oh, well, okay. But I'm telling you that was all a ruse. They was lying. This was all some bullshit. They did it intentionally. And then we're worried, Oded's going to keep doing the bad stuff. Oh, no. No, he doesn't. End of that day, he sends a message to his rabbi saying, hey, I can't tell you what's going on, but I'm going to do something good. And then he goes, and he, being the chairperson still, even though he resigned, it doesn't take effect until a few days later, calls a special election for the next day because he can, or a special meeting for the next day because he can, because of the little loopholes in it. And when he waits 2 minutes for it to be the next day, because he showed up just before midnight, he then starts the meeting, and then he pulls into place none of the laws ever placed in this city are valid anymore. So they had to get rid of the one that was weird about the jokey thing, because it would be weird if that continued forever. And then he said, no one can ever change this ever again. That's my second law. This is never able to be changed. And the final sentence of this story was, death is a crime, universally a crime now. So everywhere, anywhere, it's illegal to die. What is the punishment for dying? 10,000 years in paradise, renewable at will. So an eternity in paradise, but a minimum of 10,000 years. so he just said, "Oh, do we all go to hell?" Which is probably a lie in the first place, but could be. I don't know. I don't know if the redacted person isn't real. He said, "Oh, we all go to hell." No, we don't. No, we don't. Yeah. Unfortunately, he did also womp womp. He did shoot himself right after he brought the laws into being. Um, because I assume because he doesn't want it to be undone or to be um punished for making that a thing. I don't know. Because they were planning to use this little loophole to like punish anomalies and force them to do stuff. Um, and the other scientists had other ideas of like, oh, we could eliminate murder, or we could find out what scary places would do to people without physically doing that to people. It's like, it's still not good, even though they forget. It still affects their bodies. It's not a good idea. Um, and so he would probably have been punished big time for it or something. Like I would easily see him being made a D class for that. So not great, but he did get himself paradise before he went. So that's cool. Well, yeah, there you go. There's your summary. And now disperse. Split your brain other ways. And now brushies before 2-minute mysteries. What a power move. Indeed. Absolutely. Okay, brushies. Here we go. I'm gonna take off the mic. Or the cover of the mic. Don't find me on this little puff. You're naked. Yeah, here we go. There was brushies. Do we have any other redeems before we do 2-minute mysteries? I'm gonna put the cover back on, but I'm gonna mute first. Oh, what the heck? Okay. The tuning fork kind of just shifted, and I was like, "Ghost." It just fell a little bit. There you go. That's a bit more stable of a set for that. Alright. If we've got nothing else, I'm gonna do the next 2-minute mystery. Where are we at? Oh, goodness. The case of the hot tip. Are we ready for the hot tip? No, I know. Well, it's the title of this, so we're gonna go with it. The case of the hot tip. 2-minute mystery title. So, if you don't remember what we do with the 2-minute mysteries, I love to give you guys time to respond, but you guys are all quiet, so I'm just gonna give you time to think. You don't have to respond. I know you're all being quiet, so that's fine, but I'm gonna give you time to think. Basically, I read through it once. At the end of it, on the back side of the page, there's an answer upside down. I read it in my head. I go, oh, that's what they say. And I tell you if it's some extra persnickety bullshit, because a lot of the answers in this book seem to be some persnickety bullshit. I'll tell you if it's something that we would not know, because we're not in the right time era. Like, I'd tell you, oh, you probably need to be someone that lived in the 70s to know this, maybe. Or maybe you need to know this kind of world. And then I'm going to read, or maybe I won't say anything because you might get it. And then I'm going to read it again and do my best to make sure I kind of emphasize, make sure I say the things that are relevant. But I sometimes emphasize something for a red herring a little bit, because that's the way they rate this a little bit. The point is I make sure you do hear what is relevant, though, as opposed to me kind of, because the first time I read it, sometimes I don't read it right. After I read it the second time, I give you a moment, humming, and then I read out loud the answer at the back. So that is how they go. With all that in mind, here is the case of the hot tip. Before Inspector Winters could bellow a protest, Nick the Nose, who we've previously established I think is a scammer, right? I think I'm quickly flipping back a little bit. It had been months since Nick the Nose had slipped into Inspector's office to peddle a phony tip. So yeah, okay. We don't like Nick the Nose. He's a liar. But anyway, before Inspector Winters could bellow a protest, Nick the Nose had slipped into his office. I've got something this time, the little informer insisted. Last night, I'm sleeping in this abandoned warehouse when I hear noises. A voice says, "Do you glim that piece on page 29 about Mrs. Vanderbilt?" "There's a hole in the floor," continued Nick. "I can see 4 tough eggs sitting in the room below." In this context, I think he means people, not literal eggs. Anyway, one of them picks up a newspaper and turns to the back page and starts reading out loud. What he reads goes something like this. "The Baritoni collection of jewels has been purchased by Mrs. C. Worthington Vanderbilt of 292 Sea Cliff Heights. Mrs. Vanderbilt told reporters she will keep the jewels valued at more than $1 million in her house, which she claims is burglar-proof." The 4 guys begin to laugh, Nick went on. One guy says, "Harry, make sure the car is running good, because tomorrow night we're going to pay Mrs. Vanderbilt a quiet little visit." "There is no Sea Cliff Heights in this city," said Inspector Winters. He lifted a hand. Nick the Nose remained unshaken. "They were probably reading an out-of-town paper. They'll be back tonight. For $10, I'll take you." And then, interrupted, the inspector rose menacingly. "5?" yelped Nick. "5 fingers," growled the inspector, putting 5 on Nick's collar and 5 on the seat of his pants. Helegian opened the door wide as the little informer flew out into the hall. Why wasn't Nick paid off? So why didn't they believe the scam artist, besides him generally being a scam artist? I'm mildly confused. Oh, okay. I don't think that this is a very good reason. I think really the answer is basically because he's a scam artist and we don't trust him. Because this one doesn't seem to add up. Maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong. But I'm going to read it out. It's absolute bullshit. But I'll read it out and tell you immediately because I don't think you'll get it with this. It's some bullshit. Before Inspector Winters could bellow a protest, Nick the Nose had slipped into his office. "I got something this time," the little informer insisted. Last night, I'm sleeping in this abandoned warehouse when I hear noises. A voice says, "Did you glim that piece on page 29 about Mrs. Vanderbilt?" "There's a hole in the floor," continued Nick. "I can see 4 tough eggs sitting in the room below. One of them picks up a newspaper and turns to the back page and starts reading out loud. What he reads goes something like this. The Baritone collection of jewels has been purchased by Mrs. C. Worthington Vanderbilt of 292C Cliff Heights. Mrs. Vanderbilt told reporters she will keep the jewels valued at more than $1 million in her house, which she claims is burglar-proof." The 4 guys begin to laugh, Nick went on. One guy says, "Harry, make sure the car is running good, because tomorrow night we're going to pay Mrs. Vanderbilt quite a visit." "There is no Sea Cliff Heights in this city," said Inspector Winters. He lifted a hand. Nick the Nose remained unshaken. "They were probably reading an out-of-town paper. They'll be back tonight. For $10 I'll take you." The inspector rose menacingly. "5?" yelped Nick. "5 fingers," growled the inspector. "It's actually 10, because 5 here and 5 there. It's just 10. Putting 5 on Nick's collar and 5 on the seat of his pants." Legion opened the door wide as the little informer flew out in the hall. Why wasn't Nick paid off? Because some newspaper bullshit. Get this. Although the article on Mrs. Vanderbilt appeared on page 29, it was read, in quotes here, so according to his story, from the back page. Alas, for Nick the Nose, the back page of a newspaper always has an even number. My guys, you dumbasses. This thing right here says, although the article on Mrs. Vanderbilt appeared on page 29. Like, the way this is written, it sounds like we did confirm it exists there, but I guess it's according to him, it's on page 29. But page 29 wouldn't have been the back page. But it also said flip to the back page, so maybe they meant the back 2 pages. Like, I think that's like, that could have been accurate, you know? Like, it could have been that the very back page was page 30. Like, you know, and because a page has a front and back, like, Buddy wasn't the one reading it. Buddy was the one that was just recounting what they said. That could have been real. So disappointing. So disappointing. Now you get what I mean with fiddly bullshit. The next story. Let's hope I don't interrupt the thinking process this time. This is the case of the Jade Monkey. The case of the Jade Monkey. Let's hope this is something useful. Okay. The Staffords were known to be in reduced circumstances. "Owed everybody," said Henderson, the insurance investigator. "The $10,000 they'll collect on the shattered art treasure will save their scalps." "Then it's your conviction the Jade Monkey was deliberately broken?" asked Dr. Helegian. "Of course, but I can't budge the eyewitness, Mrs. Endicott. She's the Stafford's neighbor and closest friend. A few moments before the alleged accident, Mrs. Endicott received a box containing a mink coat. It was her first fur, and since it was a warm August day, she went directly upstairs to unpack and hang it in the storage closet. The window next to the storage closet," continued the insurance man, "is the only one in her house which has a view into the Stafford's bedroom. After hanging the coat, Mrs. Endicott heard Mrs. Stafford scream and saw her neighbor stumble into the Jade Monkey. It sailed through the open bedroom window and shattered on the patio below. The fur company's driver noted the Endicott delivery was made at 3:30 p.m. About a minute later, he heard Mrs. Stafford scream. Rushing from the truck, he saw the fragments of the Jade Monkey and both women at their windows. As it was a warm August day," interrupted Helegian, "why wasn't there a screen on the Stafford window?" "It was being repaired. That was the first angle I investigated. About the only thing I've got to go on is the hunch Mrs. Endicott is lying for her friend." "I should take the matter to court before paying," agreed Helegian, "and make sure you have several women on the jury." What did Helegian mean by the last remark? I'm a little nervous. I mean, he's not wrong with this, but it's also it's also a little ridiculous. Okay. Okay. Don't take the women thing in mind as much. Just consider what would you do kind of a thing, maybe. This is the best I can give you for a tip. Okay, here we go. The Staffords were known to be in reduced circumstances. Owed everybody, said Henderson. The insurance investigator. My goodness. The $10,000 they'll collect on the shattered art treasure will save their scalps. Then it's your conviction the Jade Monkey was deliberately broken? Asked Dr. Helegian. Of course, but I can't budge the eyewitness, Mrs. Endicott. She's the Stafford's neighbor and closest friend. A few moments before the alleged accident, Mrs. Endicott received a box containing a mink coat. It was her first fur, and since it was a warm August day, she went directly upstairs to unpack and hang it in the storage closet. The window next to the storage closet, continued the insurance man, is the only one in her house which has a view into the Stafford's bedroom. After hanging the coat, Mrs. Endicott heard Mrs. Stafford scream and saw her neighbor stumble into the Jade Monkey. It sailed through the open bedroom window and shattered on the patio below. The fur company's driver noted that the Endicott delivery was made at 3:30 p.m. About a minute later, he heard Mrs. Stafford scream. Rushing from the truck, he saw the fragments of the Jade Monkey and both women at their windows. As it was a warm August day, interrupted Helegian, why wasn't there a screen on the Stafford window? It was being repaired. That was the first angle I investigated. About the only thing I've got to go on is the hunch Mrs. Endicott is lying for her friend. I should take the matter to court before paying, agreed Helegian, and make sure you have several women on the jury. What did Helegian mean by the last remark? I'll let you think. Ignore the women. Ignore the women. That's not what I meant. And ignore the woman angle of that. I mean, the women part. But like, I'll add context further. What would you do? What would you have done? Okay. And now I hum. God, you enjoy. Okay, folks, are you ready? Oh my God, the little blankies. The little wink wonk. They're always fun. That's also a nice little bongo. Okay. Here's the answer. My context of what would you have done is in reference to if you got a first time fancy thing to wear delivered. First time you've ever had this thing, it's fancy as hell. Are you going to go hang it up immediately? Hell no. So here we go. Mrs. Endicott's present at the only window where she could substantiate Mrs. Stafford's claim was obviously part of a plot to collect the insurance money. So they had to have a reason for her to, why are you at that window right now? So they had to say, oh, I got my first mink. Helegian realized other women would instantly see through it. Because no woman receiving her first mink would ever put it directly into storage. She would try it on and purr over it. Purr purr over it. That's what they said. I was thinking it. It was like, I just got my first mink, and my instinct was like, and you put that on and feels so fancy. Oh, you put it away. Oh, okay. That was literally what I was thinking. And so maybe that's a women thing. But I mean, like, if you got a fancy ass thing, you just got it delivered. It's the first time you've had that kind of thing. You're really going to be like, yeah, no thanks. Too hot to wear it for 10 seconds. No, you wear it immediately. You have fun. You purr over it, I guess. You enjoy. That's the point. So that's fun. Okay. Next one, maybe last one, is Lady Larruper. Larruper? I don't know. I've never heard this. What is this? The case of... Lady Larruper. I mean, what is that? Larruper? Larruper. I was trying to, while I was humming, see if it was like a name. I don't know this frickin' verb. I have a theory that it means fighter? I don't know. But we'll see. Here we go. Lady Larruper. 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 The cab driver sported a shiner 3 shades of blue, a swollen lip, and a mouthful of missing teeth. We found your cab abandoned by Pier 9, said Inspector Winters. You didn't report it missing, and you weren't at work today. Come on now, what happened? The cabbie, a sizable young man, looked at the floor. Finally, under the prodding of Inspector Winters and Dr. Helegian, he shamefacedly detailed the manner of his wounds. I picked up this fare on the corner of Madison and 49th, he said. She was a real big doll with a husky voice. She yanked open the door and gave me an address in the West Bronx, and then climbed in. I have a bad feeling about what they're gonna claim in a minute. I'm curious, but we're gonna find out. Okay. She yanked open the door, gave me the address in the West Bronx, and then climbed in. When we reached Riverdale, I swung off the parkway, and she suddenly told me to pull up. It was dark, and the street was one of those private roads with no through traffic. All right, baby, she said, play it smart, and you won't get hurt. I slid from behind the wheel and opened the door for her. Lady, I said, you shouldn't play like a tough guy. Out. She got sort of funny. Want it the hard way, do you? She said. Pow! She rammed me in the eye with a fist. I went down, surprised. She was big, but not that big. She belted me twice more, fast like a pro. Once in the mouth and once in the stomach. When I woke up, my wallet was gone, and so were 4 teeth in my cab. I was too sick to work today. Holy cats, I never thought a dame could strong-arm me to sleep. We have your cab, said Helegian. Yep. Fuck you, Helegian. And if we can recover your wallet, it might comfort you to know that it was undoubtedly a man dressed up as a woman who beat you up. How did Helegian know? This answer better be specifically, no man does this thing that is completely separate. Besides, girls can't fight you. Because my buddy, nope. Nope. Mm-mm. Okay. I'm reading. I'm not reading to you. It is different. It's a fun fact I haven't heard. And funny enough, I don't think it's sexist. This is wild. I think this is just a fun fact. That's very curious. You probably don't know the fun fact. I'm shocked. I don't think any of you will guess it. So tell me now if you want time to think or try to Google. You won't. I severely doubt any of you know this, but I'm gonna read it again. And if you haven't said anything by the time I finish it, I'm just gonna read the answer. The cab driver sported a shiner 3 shades of blue, a swollen lip, and a mouthful of missing teeth. We found your cab abandoned by Pier 9, said Inspector Winters. You didn't report it missing, and you weren't at work today. Come on now, what happened? The cabbie, a sizable young man, looked at the floor. Finally, under the prodding of Inspector Winters and Dr. Halegian, he shamefacedly detailed the manner of his wounds. I picked up this fare on the corner of Madison and 49th, he said. She was a real big doll with a husky voice. She yanked open the door and gave me the address in the West Bronx, and then climbed in. When we reached Riverdale, I swung off the parkway, and she suddenly told me to pull up. It was dark, and the street was one of those private roads with no through traffic. All right, baby, she said. Play it smart and you won't get hurt. I slid from behind the wheel and opened the door for her. Lady, I said, you shouldn't play like a tough guy. Out. She got sort of funny. Want it the hard way, do you? She smiled. She said, why did I think she smiled there? I don't know. I think she probably did. Pow! She rammed me in the eye with a fist. I went down, surprised. She was big, but not that big. She belted me twice more, fast, like a pro. Once in the mouth and once in the stomach. When I woke up, my wallet was gone, and so were 4 teeth and my cab. I was too sick to work today. Holy cats, I never thought a dame could strong-arm me to sleep. We have your cab, said Halegian. And if we can't recover your wallet, it might comfort you to know that it was undoubtedly a man dressed as a woman who beat you up. How did Halegian know? Well, also, Halegian, he shouldn't be ashamed. The lady beat you up. And? Okay, but here we go. This is interesting. The big doll gave the address and then climbed into the cab. Halegian knew what the cabbie should have known, that 90% of men riders tell the address before sitting down, while outside of the cab or on the way. So they don't wait. And 99% of the women passengers never give their destination until after they are settled in their seat. If you're a doubter, ask any big city cabbie. So if it was a man and you suspected that it was a woman playing man, it might have gone the other direction. But the numbers aren't quite as solid for men riders doing the address beforehand. There's still some men that settle in before they do it. But 99% of women settling in first gives you better odds that it probably was a guy dressed that way to get you to not have big expectations. So that is interesting. Wouldn't have known that number. Curious one. I think I do want to end with a different one, though. Okay. Yeah, I think this one will be cool. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's just a weird numbers one. And I appreciate that it's not like 100%. They didn't say, women do this, men do that. They're like, no, the rough odds after study is this. Like, that's, oh, cool. I don't know if that's accurate at all. Could be complete bullshit, but they found a reason that is not inherently awful. I'm like, hey, you did better than I expected you, old book. Good job. Okay, this will be the last one. Same alliteration. The case of the Lincoln letter. It might be genuine, murmured Dr. Fry, chief of the crime lab. Inspector Winters peered through a magnifying glass at the ragged sheet of foolscap. He read the writing, from which part had been torn. ... In Gettysburg, at the Wills home facing the public square, bands blared, serenading whomever spoke. I begged to be excused. The crowd was little pleased. The band played the national anthem and moved on to Seward's... The last sentence ran into a tear. However, the signature was unmarred. A. Lincoln. It might be worth tens of thousands of dollars, said Dr. Fry. For an incomplete letter of President Lincoln's? Inquired the inspector. Are they that rare? Look at the reverse side, advised Dr. Fry. The inspector released a low whistle of astonishment. On the other side of the sheet was scrawled a partial draft of the Gettysburg Address. I found it by accident in the old Bible my sister keeps in the attic, said Cy, the Weasel McCloskey. Well, that's not a good sign, bud. Wasn't that where you found the counterfeit tens last year? Put in the inspector sarcastically. Dr. Fry interrupted. I'll run some chemical tests on the paper. It'll take a couple of days. The paper turned out to be the right age, a surprised Inspector Winters reported to Dr. Helegian. I'll wager you'll never guess the value of that one little sheet. About 10 cents to a police museum, replied Helegian. It's obviously a forgery. What was the weasel's error? I am reading. I had a guess. But woo! Okay, so your little tidbit, which you might have been able to guess, is that if you know history of Abe Lincoln's time-ish, then you might be able to crack this one. You need to have some obscure history knowledge. Some obscure American history knowledge. There you go. And then I'll go ahead and I'll read it again. And this one I will give you a break to think, because it is something you could put together. You could kind of, where's the problem here? I believe in you. Okay. It might be genuine, murmured Dr. Fry, chief of the crime lab. Inspector Winters peered through a magnifying glass at the ragged sheet of foolscap. He read the writing, from which part had been torn. In Gettysburg, at the Wills home facing the public square, bands blared, serenading whomever spoke. I begged to be excused. The crowd was little pleased. The band played the national anthem and moved on to Seward's... The last sentence ran into a tear. However, the signature was unmarred. A. Lincoln. It might be worth tens of thousands of dollars, said Dr. Fry. For an incomplete letter of President Lincoln's? Inquired the inspector. Are they that rare? Look at the reverse side, advised Dr. Fry. The inspector released a low whistle of astonishment. On the other side of the sheet was scrawled a partial draft of the Gettysburg Address. I found it by accident in the old Bible my sister keeps in the attic, said Cy, the Weasel McCloskey. Wasn't that where you found the counterfeit tens last year? Put in the inspector sarcastically. Dr. Fry interrupted. I'll run some chemical tests on the paper. It'll take a couple of days. The paper turned out to be the right age, a surprised Inspector Winters reported to Dr. Helegian. I'll wager you'll never guess the value of that one little sheet. About 10 cents to a police museum, replied Helegian. It's obviously a forgery. What was the weasel's error? Oh boy, I feel like I should hum the anthem right now, because it's been referenced, but I'll hum. Alright, we've waited a good little while. Let's see, Cage, if your history knowledge is properly bunk, or maybe you had the right instinct. Here we go. They're so cheeky with this. They say the 2 words national anthem. So there you go. That's where the problem was. While the Star-Spangled Banner was the foremost patriotic song of Lincoln's day, it did not become officially our national anthem until 1931. During his presidency, there was no national anthem. Yay! Yes, it was, Lever Johnny. And then it was the answer to our little 2-minute mystery. Hi, Chairman 430. We are wrapping up, actually. I normally go a little bit later, but I'm not feeling the best. And I would love to go to bed. We'll be real. Oh, I didn't write down these guys. Oh my gosh. Of course I didn't. I need to go back. We started with the very interestingly titled one. And I know where to go from there. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so was that what you were thinking it was, Cage? Was that the theory that you had? Was that jumped out at you? I'm writing the letters. Okay. No, you failed. Aw. What were you thinking? What were you thinking was so suspicious? I didn't get that one. I knew they were gonna do the to me by the time I read the first couple paragraphs, but I'm glad that it turned around with that last one. And this one, I figured it would be something kind of history fiddly like that. Hey, baby, guess what? Chicken butt. What? What is it, little honk? I didn't get you. What can you say? I thought the fact it was written in a Bible was weird. Oh, it wasn't written in a Bible. It's that it was found in a Bible. So, like, did I take what you were gonna say? Is that what you're founding? It's just where his sister kept it, I guess, is what they were trying to say. Not that it was written in the Bible. That would have been wild. I guess I could have tried to emphasize that part better. I did. I did it! I win! I see the future. I could read your mind. You didn't write. I didn't, but I tried to reread it with the right emphasis. I guess it was just too good a red herring. Too good a red herring there. Okay. Well, everybody, we are gonna wrap up. You're gonna posture check me right now. I'm gonna take your ribbits. Fine, I'll sit up. Okay. Alright. With this we're gonna wrap up. I fully intend to stream tomorrow. If I wake up feeling somehow worse than I am right now, I won't, but I plan to still be streaming tomorrow. We're going to play the little hammy game, which is the SCP that is a game. So that's gonna be fun. Do recommended that one, and it's gonna be silly and good. I'm excited. With that, let's all go get some eeps. You can put your little raining money for hours away. Let's go eep and eep well. If Fet is listening, I'll take a raid recommendation. If Fet is not listening, maybe Cage would tell me, or maybe I'll find somewhere I want to go. We can go raid 5. Why is she now popping up? Why there she is. She's low on my followers list. What did we read? No, it's not reading. Well, considering my earlier rant about, at the very start, I don't know if you heard it, about I need to be more making friends, maybe try more collabs besides with Just Vi. maybe someone else, but I think Vi is good. We can thank her for doing script read. And then I can raid and run without feeling guilty. um, no, we'll go to Vi. And then save that for when I hopefully don't have to run away to go eat because I don't feel good. I think that's what it should be. Yeah. Yeah. Vi will be like, oh, there's Raven. Oh, there goes Raven. Anyway. So it'll be fine. She's only been up for a while. Oh no, she's been up for a while. Okay. I don't think she's gonna stay up, so I'm sure you guys will all raid away again, but I think most of you are asleep anyway. Let's go visit Vi. If you haven't copied the raid message, do that. Okay. We will raid into her. Whoa! Why does it say I'm unable? She's gonna wrap up. She's not gonna let me raid. Someone go yell at her. Tell her I was gonna say hi. Take my peoples. Run away. She refused. She blocked me. Someone go yell at her. Oh, sorry, I bonk. I guess we'll go see their new friend. I didn't ditch you. Vi bonked me out. I didn't ditch you. I'm still here. Is it Alcy Fenmer? I'm trying to make sure that that's not a capital I. Because 1, that's sus. 2, I could get it wrong. I only have 1 thing copied right now. I can't do 2. Okay. There you are. I found them. It is L. Good, 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 good. Okay. We will raid this new friend. Nice horns. We're gonna try and raid in over here. And then I'll yell at Vi later. I know it's because she's trying to wrap up herself. That must be it. But still. Let's do our cozy real quick. Thank you everybody for watching. Please take care of yourself. It is very important, especially now, this particular hectic time. I will hopefully be here tomorrow. Eat well if you're headed to Eep. Have a great day. If start of day, whatever time zone, happy time zone. Please stay cozy. Please look after yourself. Okay, let's go. Let's raid. We raided. We raided. We raided. We raided. Goodbye.